The Florida Mayhem just took their match over the LA Valiant 3-1. It looks like all the changes and adjustments that they've been making behind the scenes have definitely panned out pretty well for them. All right, so up next, our last match of the night. We have the Houston Outlaws going against the LA Gladiators. A lot of fans of both of these teams in here. Now, at the end of stage one, a lot of people consider the Houston Outlaws as the best non-all-Korean roster in the league. But it looks like the LA Gladiators are kind of threatened to take that position from them in stage two. So this match, there's a lot of grudge here. Maybe a shift of power, per se. We're gonna find out soon. But anyways, you guys ready for tonight's match? Yeah. All right, everybody, make some noise. It is our final match of the night.
Welcome back to the Blizzard Arena, and shout out to all the parents out there. We have an awesome crowd here, so many signs, so many happy faces, and once again, you're stuck with mine. I'm Puckett, this is the crew, it's Brent, it's Reinforced, it's Zoe once again. And now we're gearing up for the matchup that had everyone fired up. When we saw the whole week schedule, we knew this was gonna be a big one. Gladiators going up against the Houston Outlaws. If you're just joining us now, though, you missed the first two. Earlier today, it was New York all over Shanghai. They take that one 4-0. Shanghai continuing to look slowly improving, but the big story so far, a lot of people calling it an upset. Florida over Valiant. Johnny, how big of a surprise is this?
It's pretty much about 7 out of a scale of 10, so.
7 out of 10?
Yeah.
All right.
Johnny's been all over the spot today, crushing it. All right, let's get into this one.
Saying words.
Houston versus Gladiators. For anyone who's just tuning into the Overwatch League, so what's kind of the overall vibe for this game right now? Are the Gladiators the favorites coming in? Because in stage one, all the hype is behind Houston.
I mean, yeah, the thing is with Houston, they've been looking really shaky in this stage. They had a great start to the stage two, but then it kind of went onto a downward spiral, whereas on the other side, we have the Gladiators with their pickup of Fisher earlier this stage. They've been looking absolutely fantastic, so a big shift there. Gladiators may come into this as the favorite.
Yeah, and also the coaching, we have to remember. I think that the way that the Los Angeles Gladiators are adapting with the hero compositions and the play styles, we saw them when they played versus the Valiant last week. They played dive, you know, Asher was on a Tracer, Hydration on the Genji, and Pharah. Insane game. And then versus London, they slowed it down, they put Surefour on the Soldier, and they looked a lot better, but passive this time. So you don't really know what you're getting when you're playing versus the Gladiators now.
So Brent, talk me through it. I was out last week, Golden Boy was here on the desk. How did Fisher get the revenge over his former team, the London Spitfire? What was the biggest takeaway for you?
I feel like it's a lot of outplaying. So that's the main benefit, right, you get by having a player like Fisher, who was on the team beforehand, is you've got like an inside man. This guy has been like playing, you know, a bit of 007, maybe role-playing a little bit as this corporate espionage. I don't know, I'm saying words to do with spying, but here we are.
It's hydration.
he honestly,
Look at hydration,
the benefit, right? He can just throw in all of these strategies. He knows exactly how London are going to be playing on this map against certain teams. He has a wealth of information for Gladiators if they can get to it, because I know they were having communications issues, but given enough weeks, as we saw, eventually this Gladiators team is looking almost unstoppable.
It's pretty amazing. If you go back and watch the footage, a lot of unique hero picks. Hydration was all over the Doomfist in that series as well. I know that's something I'm looking forward to. So we've seen this Gladiator squad. They're evolving. How's the team feel they're at right now? So do you feel like they're at peak level?
I think they are. And I mean, the thing is, every time I talk to them, they are confident. I never actually talked to their coaching staff or to the players asking like, hey, are you confident going into this match? And they said no. They were always like, oh yeah, if we play our best, we're gonna win. And it's pretty much the same for this match here.
So, I mean, if you're always confident, right?
I mean, just
Can you
confident.
imagine though if a player was just like, no, I'm not.
Oh no, we're not gonna.
What would you do in that
Oh, but
scenario?
you can be like honest, be like, yeah, it's a good opponent. If you're playing New York, you don't want to be like, yeah, I'm super confident with New York. We're gonna crush New York,
I
man.
see a lot of fans. I want to get a pulse here on the room. How many people are out here to cheer on the Gladiators tonight? All right. We're going to get more into the Gladiators as this series plays out, but we got to talk about their opponents. How can the Houston Outlaws slow down this Gladiator squad? Because if you look back at stage 1, it was one of the scariest teams. They made that late run. They snuck into the playoffs, but lately it seems they've been off. They're not able to finish as many kills, and we've talked about it on the desk. Some people seem to think it's a Tracer issue. Where do you guys feel about that?
I believe, I mean, the team synergy overall has been a little bit off. We always harp on about how good this team synergy is across the board. I feel a lot of that is basically based off the tank play because it's so good that essentially when you have good tanks in the positions, your whole team just basically changes overnight because you've got a consistent leader. They're making the engages for you. It's like what we saw from Gladiators, right? As soon as they get Fisher in, this capable main tank player, the team is transformed and they're taking all these wins. It's the exact same. A lot of these teams are based around having good Winston players. However, like you mentioned, Puckett, you know, it's the Tracer conversation needs to come up here because it seems like Houston might be lacking in that regard a little.
Yeah, both the Tracers. We have seen Jake and Clockwork so far, and I mean, looking at the stats, neither of them has really been at top of their game compared to the rest of the Tracer, but so far Clockwork has a bit lower stats because he has been playing some assault maps solely, while Jake plays the control, a bit more faster play, of course. So the stats are in Jake's favor, but overall I don't think you can get a real solid opinion on who's the better one. But they have to pick one, right? You have to pick a foundation and build the foundation. But so far they're swapping between the Tracer players. I think they need to choose one and go for it.
Yeah, you know what? I actually talked to their GM Flame about this, and I did ask, like, how is your team working around not having a natural Tracer player? And his answer was, well, but we have one. I was like, all right.
Is it Mendo?
So, secret weapon Mendo. One day we'll see him on this stage, but might not be today. But yeah, so he said we have one. I was like, all right. So we have seen Linkster, we have seen Clockwork, and we have seen Jake, all three on that Tracer role. How are they going toe-to-toe with the other Tracers in the league? And he said that's not an issue for us. So in his book, that isn't the problem.
I mean, we always talk about the Tracer, right? Because in my opinion, Tracer is the most important hero in the game. I mean, the sole reason why New York won yesterday is because Saib was just the better Tracer in the game. And so it comes down to Tracer over and over again. If it could be true, if
maybe there is a piece in this puzzle we don't.
Yes, if Linkster is the Tracer that Flame is talking about, then I can see it because Linkster is a solid Tracer. But then you have to build on the flex DPS role. Are you gonna put Jake in there with the Soldier? I mean, Clockwork has played on Pharah, but I mean that's about it. So I don't think it's really honest. I'm a bit disappointed because Tracer is the biggest issue for Houston Outlaws, and you have to recognize it and work on it.
I want to see these Tracers shut you up today, Johnny. Anyone else out there want to see Houston's Tracers pop off?
Me too, Puckett.
There's a few fans. Are you guys ready to get it started? Our players are ready. Let's hear them. Here they are one more time. It's the Houston Outlaws taking on the LA Gladiators.
Now it's up to the Outlaws to make something obvious.
Again, Gladiators really finding the opportunities here coming in. And Sherborne raining death from above.
Getting shut down by Raucous now.
Oh, that's huge. What is this? This is so gross, Houston. LA Gladiators.
We got our first squad. Let's hear it for Texas. It's the Houston Outlaws. Ridiculous performances in stage 1 so far. In stage 2, though, lackluster. Last week, not the star performances they wanted. Today, they're looking to shut down the Gladiators.
I got to talk to them about their 3 biggest takeaways from last week. Their coach kept it simple. Practice better, work smarter, and fix our mindset. They had a rough time lately, but I guess you lose some, you win some. As long as the outcome is income, everything is fine.
Okay, I can't believe you managed to pin that one in. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, all right, we'll go in there. I don't think I can pump that one, but here's one player I am going to be looking out for here, and it's Linkster. He's not on the screen, that's actually Moomer, but that's also a very good player. But the one person I do want to talk about is how much of a madman Linkster is on the server, right? You get that guy going, you get him rolling, and suddenly the whole server is his oyster, and he's making omelets and all sorts of it. You know, you don't know what he's going to be cooking up in the kitchen because the guy is absolutely demolishing on a multitude of roles, as we were saying when we were talking about the Tracers before.
Don't worry, Brent. I talked to the observers. We're going to see lots of Linkster today. You can thank me later.
Yeah, we're going to see. I don't even know what to follow from that.
That's another Drake line. Johnny just lost it. That's a look
I'm
at
not a
the
Drake fan.
Outlaws. They are on the stage. It's now time to bring out their opponents. Let's hear it for the hometown squad wearing purple. It's your Los Angeles Gladiators. I love it. We've seen Shad signs, we've seen Big Goose signs. The fans are showing up and they are cheering on this squad. 4-2 in stage 2. That's currently number 3 in the rankings, and they're looking for a win today if they want to make it to the playoffs at the end of next week.
They absolutely are, Pugget. And I mean, stage 1, when these teams clashed, it was a rapid 4-0 for Houston, but I believe it's going to be a very different outcome today. This team is actually looking incredible with the introduction of Fisher. He has completely revitalized it. The way they're playing is so good. I mean, Big Goose himself, that guy has incredible hair. I just got to point out. It wasn't even the main point I was trying to make, but when it comes
bling
up...
right there, dude.
Okay, all right, you want to go there.
Now, Surefour was on Sombra a lot last week. Do you expect that to be his main hero? What should we expect from the DPS?
Well, I don't really think we'll see that much Sombra. Generally, when Surefour is in the lineup, we see more Soldier play. So I think we'll see more hitscan play. Maybe we'll see the Sombra. I mean, it is one of Surefour's pocket picks, right? So
we are going to Volskaya as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we could very likely see the Sombra play if you want to surprise your opponent. But you don't want to be the team that always plays the Sombra, right? Because you need to throw a curveball once in a while and prevent the enemy team to be able to adapt to you.
Last week, all eyes were on Fissure. Zoe, who's your player to watch today from the Gladiators?
Oh man, well, from the Gladiators, it's still going to be on Fisher, I'm sorry. But I also want to see the coordination together with Asher. I still am kind of looking for more of that in their games.
A little coordination. We'll see if the dives are coming in for the Gladiators. Our match is ready. Let's send it to the casters. It's Somewhere with Hex.
Thanks so much, Puckett. Puckett, you know, I'd be happy to be with Puckett's face every day of the week. I don't know about you, Hex, but him back on the desk, that's right, air horns. Mountain Dew, Doritos, let's just throw it all in there along with Semler. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the desk. They're much too hip for me. I think there was like Drake lines or something. I don't know what a Drake is, but I heard it's cool.
There's like a rake.
Okay.
There are a few rake-ish things as well, but a Drake is well, I hear he makes music from his house.
There's a picture of him on the internet saying yes and no. I don't know. It's some sort of meme I've heard is also a cool thing.
I thought that was me.
Well, it's clearly me.
I mean, this is such a we're all so narcissistic, right? You know, that it all works out.
I am out of my depth when it comes to stuff that is thought of as cool. Very clearly there. I'm not out of my depth as we go to Volskaya above the icy waters here in Russia. We'll see what they wanted. I think they alluded to some Sombra. Of course, Sombra's home map, home of the cinematic. She controls robots. And then we'll see what Surefour wants to... I mean, that's why they're assuming we're going to see Sombra, because Surefour is in rather than Hydration, who's been the ace of this Gladiators team. But Surefour's been playing a lot on the Volskaya map, and the Gladiators have reaped the benefits of it. They're 100% win rate on Volskaya, have yet to lose on this map.
Yeah, definitely kind of the home map developing for him, and you need that as a team, right? You need to have one map you can turn to and be like, right, here we feel comfortable, everything is working, we know we can get a win here, and the Gladiators have definitely got that when it comes to Volskaya, and while we will be seeing it in just a moment's time, but the Sombra will be in play.
Well, and the other map that if we get there is Houston Outlaws' home field would be Gibraltar. They're at 100% win rate there. It's also in the pool. It's just going to matter if that map matters when we get there. Gladiators have been on a tear. Houston going the other direction. And like, I don't really care what the GMs or the coaches say. Tracer has been an issue for this team. And all the best teams in the Overwatch League have top-tier Tracers. You can have a list of who are the 5 best Tracers in Overwatch, and that list is going to line up with the 5 best teams in Overwatch for the most part. I mean, you look at London and New York and Seoul, the best Tracers, and they're the best teams.
They're pretty good Tracers, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also my boy Soon. But, you know, we can get that another time. It didn't really work out for Soon today.
To my detriment, I've always been a huge fan of Clockwork. I still have faith in Clockwork. He is the natural Tracer, was the best scout player in Team Fortress 2 history. Still trying to translate that into results, and here we go. Houston's rollout. They're going to have to push into a Sombra, and Big Goose and Shaz on their most comfortable support heroes in Ana and Zenyatta, respectively.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Surefour and Big Pack Room already to start things off. Cool Matt going to get on to the high ground here, try and set things up, as there is going to be a bit of the dive coming through here from Los Angeles Gladiators, taking a bit of a poke at things. Bishu heavily under fire, but the hack is there, and Cool Matt's wondering, why is his mech not there anymore either?
Why is this team not there? It's because they all got eliminated on the entry there. This is when the Gladiators are at their best, in my opinion, is when they take it to you. Not a passive team on the defense. They see them coming in and they simply lock that door down. Kill 2 right off the bat. Linkser fell, Raucus fell, and that was all she wrote for that fight.
I got a bit of the volley going in. Unfortunately, you don't really want to be shooting at Gladiators right now because that's only going to charge the EMP for sure for who's just going to be all smiles. Yeah, a bit of a scary moment there. Definitely not the guy you want to run into. Linkser with that flashbang can end Sombra so quickly.
Able to work around these packs so far. Fissura's going to go up to the high ground where his supports are sitting. Right now, Houston doesn't really have anyone to pressure this high ground. So they need to send their tanks up there maybe to pressure the supports, but they're instead going to pressure on the low ground. That is a huge cog now down. Fissura out of the fight.
Yeah, wondering what happened there because he just threw himself out into the open. Asher working well. He managed to pick up the kill on Raucus there behind the EMP from Surefour. And so there is a bit of an opening here perhaps for Los Angeles to try and turn the tide, but Boink will get the res off on Raucus. And things looking a little grim here for the Gladiators.
It was where Raucus died that allowed them to resurrect it, and then you have to take that into consideration. The EMP is a guaranteed kill on his Zenyatta for the most part, even if you're not the one getting it. But you want to kill him where he's out in the open, where you can't get the resurrection going, especially you know they're running that Mercy. So if you kill him out in the open, then you can camp it, maybe even get the Mercy there who's going to be baited in to try to res him and take him down, but not working out there. So still a solid defense because Volskaya first. If you can hold him once or twice, you've already had a good defense. Los Angeles in a decent position on their defense going forward because they have both support ultimates.
They do. They can definitely slow things down here with that nano boost. Linkser saying hello, though. If he can clip Big Goose, that would be a big one. Big Goose hanging in there, but not long enough. Linkser with the dash. Shaz with that snipe. But both supports dead now for Los Angeles Gladiators. Big deal, however, is that Big Goose did manage to get his nano off before he died.
He pressured him, then Nano went on to Fissure there. Fissure's gonna pop his Primal Rage, just trying to get some pressure, but so far it is all Houston in the kill feeder. Linkser on the carry.
Yeah, there we go. Surefour with the other EMP. That could actually try and swing things their way. Muma doing a good job of dancing in the corner, trying to limit the damage taken. It's all about outlasting at this point if you are Houston Outlaws. The stagger is real. They're dying one after another on this point. There will be a contest last second here and the self-destruct attempt from Bishu, but it's not going to really get a kill. And well, it's not going to buy a whole lot of time either as he gets demeched and destroyed.
Bishu was able to stay alive, get back into his back and buy just a little bit more time. The May wall is out. They need to get a kill or two to start stabilizing. That is all it will take from the Los Angeles Gladiators to bring this one back. They've done a good job on the stall so far.
But this is not going to be enough. Linkser even had the Dragon Blade there to just close it out. But what a quick offense coming through here from the Houston Outlaws. Linkser really kicking it off there in a big way for the offense.
It all starts with Linkser getting that sneak pressure. He went around down the flank, was able to take that high ground. That's where outlaws are generally set up in that room back there, and he knew it. He got the pressure on, which forced Big Goose to use the nano early onto Fissure. Forced Fissure to fight a little bit different than he wanted. Then Fissure, being pressured down as he was, had to pop Primal Rage a little bit earlier, and that's another couple seconds they could have bought time on. So that very small sneak over to the side, pressuring down Big Goose, and I have to question why you stay on the Sombra there on last. You had both support ultimates. Perhaps they thought they could definitely stabilize with those support ultimates and then go into the EMP, but not enough kill potential there towards the end, and they got snowballed.
They got wrecked is also a good way of describing it. Small mistakes made, but Houston Outlaws are definitely not a team that you can kind of make those errors against. They will jump on it. Fissure on the first point. And, you know, it's a bit late to come back to that, but there were definitely some mistakes made on the defense from Gladiators that really allowed Houston to run away with this. And so 4 minutes, 45 seconds in the bank for Houston Outlaws as they switch over to the defense. Los Angeles Gladiators now will be on the offense. And, well, definitely not believing you, Muma. Definitely not believing you. Just change. There we go.
You know, trying to look on the bright side here, we did talk about a lot of the Tracer stuff going on with Houston there, but Clockwork comes off a very good round. 8 eliminations, 3 final blows. Most importantly, and I think this is an overlooked stat for some Tracers, 0 deaths. He was alive the whole time. You have to account for him constantly. And if you're trying to account for the Tracer, that leaves Linkser open to do a lot of damage there. Also did, you know, over 9,000 damage there just in that first half. So Clockwork, questions about him. Do they have a Tracer player? I still think he can be the answer if you just unleash him.
Yeah, just give him the room to breathe, room to work with. We'll see. He is going to be on that Tracer here for the second half, and well, Surefour now Looking for his angle. Great job by Raucus staying hidden. That was a closed angle, and that could have definitely gone south, but he played it safe. Raucus staying alive. That's what it's all about here.
A little pressure there from aforementioned Clockwork trying to get to the back line. He's going to sit back there, still has not died. Now Short Force still looking for the angles. I don't know if Links are, oh my!
Oh, what a play! Fisher there to capitalize. That headshot definitely was it, not the full, but there was enough for the kill to get it. But Clockwork is just going ham right now, along with Cool Matt doing the damage. And Los Angeles Gladiators, they're getting whittled down. They're stuck in the room with no way out.
It's very nice there. It's going to matter where the Resurrections were able to come in from, but no Resurrection on the side of Los Angeles Gladiators there. Back to the drawing board here. What I was going to say before Linkser died is if I had to pick one Widow to not duel against, it would be Linkser. So Shortcore has his work cut out for him.
And I think this is why he's going for such ballsy plays. I mean, launching himself out in the open like that, really having to take risks to catch Linkser off guard, because if you go straight up with Linkser, he knows all the angles. He's got you downloaded. He knows how to win those duels. So a bit of a missed opportunity there. Could have got the clip on Clockwork. Instead, we'll do some body damage, a little bit of damage to the paintwork on D.Va's mech.
Clockwork still lurking around. He's got his pulse bomb. Knows where the team is. Point going down very early, though. That is a beautiful pick from Shortcore.
Yeah, missed opportunity there from Clockwork, but this is the kill that really could swing things to the favor of Los Angeles Gladiators. A boot to the face. Clockwork is done. And while we will have Fisher kind of dancing here on the point, we do have Cool Matt, who's still alive. He can even buy more time if he wants with the self-destruct, trying to get it into a good angle, and he does. That will clear the site. So a little bit of time bought here by Houston Outlaws. Raucus with the kill on Asher as well, and then Raucus, get out! Fisher's having none of it.
Fisher was looking for that one. He was able to chase him down, knock him into the icy depths of Volskaya. And this should be it for the defense. They're going to come back in here and fight it just a little bit. Matt's going to buy a little bit of time at the least. They could start getting some reinforcements back into this, but you have to question, are you going to be able to hold? Are you just feeding at this point? And that is 4 quick kills. They will stall it out, but now Gladiators will take point number 1. Point A, sorry.
Yeah, point A, point number 1. There are 2 points. You know, you have to be right. A, B. It all works out in the end, Hex. What's also pretty interesting to see here is that Boink has got that valve still. Him dying did not allow him to farm it up or use it in that fight. So going into this first defense on the B point, Boink will have a little bit of an edge, and we'll see if he decides to get it into play here. Yep, immediately. Baited out. Actually, solid work from Gladiators. They don't even really need to commit into this. They can just wait for Boink, for the wings to fold back up again.
The pulse one goes out, a nice jump off of the edge there. Boink was there to keep Raucus alive. That's why Asher had to go for the pulse bomb rather than just the one clip. Shaz takes down Clockwork again. He has been very difficult to deal with on Zenyatta, but Boink will bring Clockwork back into the mix. But already, Gladiators are going to have a slower time.
That was a bold resurrect as well, right out in the open. Linkster finds the kill on Shaz, and Sureforce still hunting for targets. We'll be able to back off just in the nick of time. Big Goose topping him up, and with the trance, that allows for Gladiators to move together here as a unit. Clockwork does try to put up a fight, but it's getting a bit dicey for him. It's definitely looking a little thin, as you still have Linkster here with the reflex just buying a little bit more.
Nice patience there as they wait a second. The Zubiata will come back on the point, install this out before the second tick is reached. Again, all you're looking for in the defense is one kill to restabilize this. That could be what they need. Movement taking down Asher is enormous. They still could need a little bit more, though. It opens the gates, clicked off the point. Gladiators will finish the round. 45 seconds separate the time bank between these two teams.
They're so hungry for kills even after the point is over. They're still killing each other. Linkster, he had a Dragon Blade. Needs to get those frags.
I saw that dash through with 2 round posthumous kills.
Knocked off the point, and with that many bodies alive there, Houston can't be too happy about that, because it does feel like they could have turned it back their way, but nobody on the point, and the Gladiators just sneaking it out.
You have to give a lot of credit to Big Goose there. They had lost Shaz early in that fight, died with Transcendence available. Big Goose is able to get himself in position, resurrect Shaz, and the moment they rezzed him, he's just smashing his ultimate button, Q in this case, so that he's brought up and you're kind of vulnerable in those situations. Everyone sees that you're getting brought back to life. Then he smashes it, transcends, that leads them onto the point, and that's a turning point right there for them to take that. Close between these two teams on the offense, as I said, only 45 seconds. We'll see which defense can hold a little stronger. Oddly enough, the first point defenses were better than both second point defenses.
Yeah, that's actually the surprising thing on Volskaya. You really do expect the B defense to hold out for a good long while. get that cap going with only like a minute and a half left in the bank. But both of these teams have been very swift on the offense, really just capitalizing on the mistakes made. Now it's going to be about this Widow duel yet again here, and Linkser was kind of coming out ahead last time around, so he even forced Surefour off of the Widow to get onto the Soldier just to handle him. But Surefour not going to give up, back on the Widow here and looking for the fight.
Well, Linkser in a different position than he was last time. He took left side, and now he's trying to switch it up. Although that is scouted immediately as Winston takes a shot.
Yeah, body shot there. Just tickling Fisher, and more importantly, allowing Big Goose to keep farming up that Val. Clockwork on the edge here, just watching the entrance towards Big Pack if he wants it, but Fisher gonna go leaping in, and Linkser wins the duel versus Surefour again. Headshot connects. Big Goose will be able to get the res off, however, so the fight hasn't totally stalled out, but it's looking like Gladiators, they're looking for some room to breathe here. And well, again, what a shot. Linkser showing Surefour that he can go for the grapple play if he wants as well.
Now coming back from that one, Resurrection already been used. 2 up, 2 down. Linkser putting Surefour in the grave twice and puts him off a Widow.
Yeah.
Surefour has had enough. He's going to go over to Genji. Meanwhile, Linkser nearing Infrasight.
He's putting him in his place, Hex. He's putting him in his place. Get off of the sniper. I reign supreme here. I am the goddess of death. And yet again, Linkser still hanging around. He's got that edge on Big Goose. Big Goose got to be able to get out of town, though.
They're trying to prioritize really making Fissure uncomfortable. He's been such a boon to this team's tank line. Oh, that was so close. Linkser a millimeter away from hitting the Omnic Dome.
Oh, but he's still here. Gets the kill on Bishu, and Surefour will be there to drop Muma. Wings have been out here for Boink, and so Boink looking for the res. He will bring Muma back into this, and now it's all about cranking out as much healing as possible, keeping his teammates alive. Raucus is there with the trans as well if necessary, but it's not looking like it's going to be needed this fight. 2 minutes left on the clock here for Los Angeles Gladiators to make something happen, and yes, definitely hunt down Surefour.
Able to chase that down as well. It's such a nice kill for a Tracer to be able to take a remeching D.Va. The worst thing to happen is to let a D.Va get back in that mech. It's like adding another 400 HP hero there. There's armor into that mix as well. So to be able to take down Baby D.Va with that one clip is so important. It's such an essential part of the Tracer's job and kit.
Oh, we already got a bit of the skirmish going off here, but there we go. Immediately Surefour going for the blade. He does hunt down Linkser, so that's a great kill to kick things off. Question, there is no Valk ready here. There is no Valk at all here for Gladiators. They've switched it up, and so no res possible. It's going to be done the hard way. Boink, never mind. Boink will bring it back. It's Gladiators who made the change.
Surefour is able to take down Coolmat, who was trying to get back in that mech. So important, as I mentioned, this should be Gladiators now as they continue to pile on. Late Transcend is going to come out from Raucus, try to buy a little bit of time, but it is all for naught as he hits a pulse bomb towards the end. There goes Boink and Clockwork. This one is Gladiators for the taking with a little over a minute left. They will get an extension, of course.
We'll get a little bit more time to work with. Gotta give it to Surefour, though, man. He was set on his target and immediately threw things out of whack for Houston Outlaws. Raucus, are we gonna get a replay? Yep, that was what happened. I was wondering, I was like, why? Nobody is there. How did Raucus die? It's not like he got punted off the edge.
Yeah, I'm sure Raucus is going to be thrilled with that replay.
This is why when you're on the stairs, you always hold the handrail. You know, you might just fall off. You know, those steps are icy, Hex.
Yeah.
I mean, he is floating, but he needs something under him.
Yeah, those boosters don't work over water. It's very much like the Back to the Future tech with hoverboards.
Except minus the dope sneakers. Getting into it though now because Shaz, he's got the chance and immediately goes for the tap, trying to get out here to keep his teammates alive. He will do so for a little while longer, although Coolmat did get the kill on Fissure. That is going to put some pressure here on the front line, means that they're focusing on Bishu, trying to get the Bishu mech out of play, and Bishu has been demexed. That's pretty much going to snuff it here for Gladiators. 45 seconds left, and they realize that they need to go for the reset.
Yeah, I think they would have liked to go for the reset immediately when Fissure died, but the Transcend had been out just a second too late, so they wanted to see if they could get anything with that Transcend, even though they lost their main tank. They still have some stuff to bank with here, though. Barrier into Blade can be a very good combination. That shield will travel with the Genji. Raucus nearing Transcendence, though, and they can just fight in the point in that light of the Omnic. Linkser nearing his own Blade. Houston in a pretty solid position.
It's a question of whether Surefour can kick things off strong again. Does spot Linkser, goes for Raucus. Trance is going to be used immediately. However, he does force it. As far as Surefour is concerned, that could be a win. No longer that big heal going on for Houston Outlaws, but Clockwork will find Shaz. Shaz, that's a big kill. A lot of the support, the healing gone for Los Angeles Gladiators. Now it's all about the throughput here. Self-destructs countering each other out. A little bit of space gain, but They will not be able to get a presence on the point, Gladiators. They will not be able to keep themselves alive here.
Yeah, it was so important for the DPS to get to the back line there, and they got to Shaz, and then Short4 went back to try to deal with them. You saw a blading Linkser and a blinking Clockwork bail as soon as Short4 went out, and then he's out of position in his own Genji. Really nice play there. They've been harassing the back line of the Gladiators very well in concert, both the DPS for Houston, and now they've set themselves up with a very nice win condition. Take first point, get some progress on second, and Volskaya will be theirs, and they'd be the first team to beat the Gladiators on Volskaya.
Be quite the turnaround for Houston, who have definitely been experiencing some bumpy times over the past couple of weeks. So that would be a real confidence boost if they could take down the Gladiators, who have definitely been starting to gather some momentum for themselves. As far as the defense is concerned, Short4 back on the Sombra. So it's looking like that's the game plan here for Gladiators. They want to stick to their guns.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It's not going to surprise Houston at all. Houston should know that this is what the Gladiators run on Volskaya, if not from previous matches, then from this one. Oh my God. Ooh. Oof. Be still.
I think that they really need to add like the swoosh of hair.
Yeah.
Do something for a Raucus, Zenyatta in-game.
That would be the baller skin. How to make $1 million overnight, add in Raucus's hair to Zenyatta on a skin. That should be the Houston Outlaws skin.
Enough said. It's done. Blizzard, make it happen. Jeff, my boy, get on that.
I was curious if Linkser was going to go to the McCree before the Zenyatta scared half the death out of me. When Linkser's going to stay on Genji anyway, because the McCree can be so good against Sombra. No need, though. Look at this assault ambush.
Wow, 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 wow. I love it. This is sick. Let's go, Gladiators. Shields are up, and they're plowing right through the Outlaws.
Wow, that was impressive. Talk about catching them by surprise. Now, that's a twofold thing. That's only going to work once, right? You're not going to be able to sit out there the entire game, but now that should give them a pretty solid advantage when it comes to ult percentage. It can backfire pretty terribly, but I think it's a really smart idea. However, 4 minutes remain for the offense to continue to push.
Some valuable time lost there for Houston Outlaws. Quite a bit of percentage gain here. Oh, the one clip attempt from Asher, not quite going to be able to pull it off. Just keeping that pressure on Linkser now. But yeah, just get in here, hit that pack repeatedly, get that EMP in play. Short4 is now going to have that valuable ult, and so he's looking for the angle. Who's he going to use it on, though? He's got 3 juicy targets, and they're all in a room. They're all waiting for him. He gets booped away just in the nick of time, and does he fully commit to this? No, decides to hold on to it for a little bit later. But Houston Outlaws, they got 2 key kills, and that could end it here as far as the Gladiators are concerned.
Short4 gets absolutely bamboozled there. He's trying to come in, and the boot back was also so important, but then he has to translocate back, and Muma was camping his translocator. He went back and got absolutely rocked immediately. He will have the EMP. I guess that's the silver lining here of dying before you're able to use it. He has EMP for the defense. Last time it wasn't enough to really help them out. We'll see. They should have EMP, they should have barrier, they should have transcendence going forward. They're gonna need it all because Linkser's got a blade ready.
Yeah, it's about Short4 just getting that EMP out there as quick as possible and then changing up. But Linkser, yeah, again, Blade goes leaping in. I like it that Clockwork and him are acting as that deadly duo. Clockwork has now been ferried into the back line.
Just biding his time. If he had gone in right away, he would have been able to do so without any of the support ultimates being up. The hesitation has cost them that window as Shaz has his Transcend now ready. Linkser in a lot of trouble, has to back out.
Wow, they are really focusing him hard, and he is just barely going to hang in there. That's pretty much guaranteeing the sound barrier there for Boink. Boink and Raucus now both have their support ultimates up and ready to go. So Linkser could be now thinking this is the time.
Houston needs to come in with the Transcendence active so that I can't get EMP'd. If they come in after barrier, it's just going to get the shield stripped off by the EMP. Linkser in the back lines. There's the Transcendence comes in.
Yeah, he gets it off in the nick of time. Raucus is so hard to catch unawares with that EMP. He is so quick. Gets the trance out before it can get canceled. Cool Matt will get demec'd, and he's in a bit of a tight spot. Shaz is looking for the Orb, and he's going to find him as well. Los Angeles Gladiators managing to turn this fight their way, and Asher just mowing them down in droves.
This is absolutely fine for Houston, though, because look at the right side of the Gladiators roster. Short4 used his EMP, Big Goose used his ultimate, Shaz, who now is on Roadhog for whatever reason, has already used his Transcendence as well. Houston, meanwhile, used their Transcend, but they're going to have barrier for this next fight. Clockwork can hit a pulse bomb. They still have a lot to work with here.
Listen, you were questioning the Shaz, the man when he goes fishing, he does not miss. They take the bait every time. Muma has gone primal over on the point, creating some space here for his teammates to get out there. A perfect sound barrier thrown into the mix by Boink, hitting everybody as well. But then Bijou, the monster self-destruct on the point, nukes 3. And that ends that push.
Super clutch. I'm not necessarily questioning Chaz's move over to the Roadhog. I actually think it's smart. If you're going to continue to run this Sombra, then you need someone who's going to have pick potential and damage potential, because Sombra does not. So you're already running 2 people who have healing potential. Big Goose is going to be enough to do the area effect healing on the point.
Yep.
Spot healing going to be around on these packs elsewhere. That's going to help out Asher. Maybe even some of the tanks were more mobile as well. Chaz now onto the Mei. It used to be a staple of assault defenses.
Exactly right, just because she can stay alive forever, and then, you know, it's just super annoying. There we go, nice one put down, and the man kills himself rather than give the kill a clockwork. He's having none of it, chucks himself into the icy waters. Fisher will have to respawn. Bijou still buying time on this point, and Surefour there with the EMP, monster hack, 4 targets hit, and now it's just about getting the job done, except that a Reaper doesn't care. He's got shotguns.
Reaper, one of the best targets to get EMP'd because it does not matter. He's not ability reliant. Chaz will take down Linkser. They are so close. Remember, they only need 33%. And now they take Big Goose down in the corner. It is it. As Surefour will fall as well. A recall forced out, still holding on just barely.
This is unreal. Bijou with the fancy footwork, the fancy fly in there. And now Asher is able to get back into it. Can they hold Los Angeles Gladiators? There's the sound barrier. They're buying even more time. And while we're about to get into overtime here for Houston Outlaws, they are running out. Lynx are still doing damage though, dropping those meaty targets. And Rockets with the Helix. There's one. Lynxer gets 2. And it's looking like they should be able to manage this now as Bijou gets D-Max instantly. The Death Blossom thrown into the mix. And Houston Outlaws, in the end, will prevail. 4-3 on Volskaya. A 1-0 lead.
First team to be able to beat the Gladiators on Volskaya this stage. Houston has put it back together. Such an intelligent switch to go to the Reaper. He is the closeout hero, and he's such a great counter hero to Sombra. If Sombra EMPs the Reaper, it's exactly what he wants. She's right there. He's got guns, not relying on his Wraith form. Houston Outlaws starts this off 1-0. Go to map 2 after a break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
last day of week 3. Put your hands together for the London Spitfire.
They're looking like potential Stage 2 champions.
Their opponents, the Los Angeles Gladiators.
Yeah, very special game for Fisher, as he used to be working alongside the guys from the London Spitfire. Now he's on the other side.
We've never seen the Spitfire have a weakness that is easy enough to pick off. Maybe Fisher is the guy that shows us how you can take this team down.
제가 런던에 있을 때 뭔가 하나씩 안 맞아가지고 계속 주전을 못 뛰었었는데 글래디에이터에서 이제 팀원들이 저를 믿고
And that's it. Map 1. Gladiators coming up here. They're looking like a different team now.
일단 첫 번째에서 밀었을 때 상대팀이 이미 많이 죽은 상태였고 그 상대팀이 이제 리스폰에서 돌아오는 시간보다 우리가 거점을 밟는 시간이 더 빠르기 때문에 우리가 먼저 자리를 잡자고 이렇게 전체적으로 오더가 나왔었어요. 그래서 저희가 거점을 빠르게 밟고 상대팀이 오는 거 하나대로 차례대로 이제 토너먼트처럼 잡았었죠.
Gladiators putting on a show now that Fisher's in the lineup, picking on gestures. It's Fisher just making a statement, putting him in this place, saying it was you who should have been traded.
제스처 선수나 페이트 선수나 수많은 선수들이 이제 최고의 탱커라고 얘기하는데 그거는 제가 이제 나오지 않았을 때 얘기고 제가 나왔을 때 제스처 선수와 페이트 선수보다 제가 더 잘한다고 생각하기 때문에 제가 지금 최고의 탱커라고 생각하고 있습니다.
Gestures down. It's no good. The Gladiators have won the series. I can't believe it.
런던이 저를 다른 팀에 팔았는데 그 팀이 자기 팀보다 세질 거라고 생각은 못했겠죠. 그거에 있어서 후회하길 빌게요.
Well, that man in question has definitely stepped up to the plate now that he's on the starting roster for Los Angeles Gladiators. He's bringing it all to the table.
It's hard to argue that he's not at least one of the best tanks in the Overwatch League, but here's the problem that comes with that is everyone's going to be trying to kill you. They understand if he can take on a main tank for the team, then the rest of it will crumble around it. It's actually similar to what was happening to Houston, in my opinion, when they really started getting focused with Matt. Like, Matt has been such an issue, and of course everyone's saying, did someone kill Cool Matt? Someone kill Cool Matt? Well, easier said than done, but a lot of teams just started really focusing on him. And Matt's such a passive diva that he's always alive, and he's always Johnny on the spot, eating damage and turning bad situations into good ones.
Yeah.
Teams decided, like, I don't care what happens. We're not going to let Matt beat us. Because it's just so frustrating when Matt beats you too, because then you look over and he's just like sitting back in his chair. He doesn't care, you know?
Yeah, where's my pina colada? You know, I'm on the beach right now.
We do have a couple subs. Jake will be coming in for Clockwork, and I thought Clockwork played well on Volskaya, but they do always take him out for control maps. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go forward. Hydration will come in for Short 4 as well. As I mentioned, we are going to Lijiang Tower. Very good Tracer map. Don't know why you take your Tracer Naturalist out to put
Nobody
Jake in.
can do that, but you're doing air quotes to say you're Tracer, right?
Tracer Specialist?
I mean, if Tracer isn't a problem, right, then Jake should definitely be able to fill those shoes, right?
You would think so. Jake, you know, has got a little more versatility than Clockwork, perhaps. Maybe they want to run par 76. Jake, jack of all trades, master of none. We'll see what he is going here. Look, last time we saw Jake, he's got those great moments, and then he's got what moments? I just don't know what I just saw, and then, you know, he'll solo 3 people. It's kind of interesting to say the least. They might want him in specifically for Control Center if we get there. Junkrat's very good on Control Center. Sure. But that is not where we're going to start. I believe we're going to start here on Garden. But I don't know. They did a head comparison of Clockwork versus Asher, and Clockwork came out ahead in the Tracer. I think he can be the answer, but it's hard to be that answer and get in the rhythm when you only get to play one map a series.
Well, you only get to play one map a series, and when there is a dearth of talent, quite a bit of talent to work with on the Houston Outlaws, right? You're not really going to be looking to Linkster to change up, and so then you're having to compete with Jake for that slot, and so perhaps he's just not quite finding that pace, but if he does continue to put up the numbers, then Houston Outlaws are going to have to take a look and notice. Regardless, we're going to be moving into it. It does look like it's going to be Garden to kick things off. This is the home of Farah, but you can also have Linkster on the Widow to counter that. Hydration might be getting a bullet to the dome or to the beak immediately here at the beginning of this game. He's got to be careful.
All right, well, that's the opening match.
And there you go. Oh, buddy.
Linkster shaking his head on the way down, knows that he had a beautiful chance to knock him out of the sky, but as it stands, both Zenyatas will fall to the opposing Tracer. Jake draws blood on Chaz.
Yeah, there it is. A little bit of a body shot. He needs to get a headshot. That would be a bit better here if Linkster could actually commit and connect with it. But Asher will find, like, dude, these Tracers right now are just going ham.
Yeah, it's a good Tracer map. Very, very good Tracer map. Jake has gone absolutely up, takes down both tanks. Just Baby Diva now in the mix here as they try to get back in. Now here it's Asher's turn. There's been 4 kills in this game, 6 kills, and they've been all belonging to the Tracers until Linkser does finally find the angle.
What a sick shot onto Asher. Get out. Fisher not there fast enough to save his teammate. So we will see a change. Hydration going to get off the Pharah and get onto that Genji, trying to get into the fight a bit faster here and really committing to the full dive as far as Gladiators are concerned. Bishu will get demeched. This is back and forth. Now it's Boink who's stepping in, deciding, hey, I can put on a bit of a show myself as well. Pay attention.
Not clean from either side. Hydration and Asher combined take down 2. Lynx are back in the mix, takes down Hydration. It does seem like finally the Gladiators have evicted Houston off the point. Meanwhile, they took control of that as well. 15% and counting up. After we've had composition switches, all sorts of stuff, that is where we lie after the dust has settled. Now switches come in. Linkser going over to the Tracer. Jake over to Soldier 76.
Okay, then. We're going to get to see everybody play Tracer at this point. It's going to be the musical chairs. Cool Matt will get cut off by the shield, but he does manage to nuke it fast enough. We have the sound barrier in play here for Los Angeles Gladiators. A bit of extra HP as they go into this fight. Raucus decides it's time to trance, and Boink gets battered before he can even get his sound barrier out, so that should pretty much snuff it.
Hydration going a little bit too deep, will be punished there, but the rest of his team killed everybody else. Matt even took a long walk off a short pier there. Let's see what we got here. This is Fissure going to town and smashes 2.
Wow.
Where was Boink?
Boink was almost as an afterthought there.
Yeah, I think he threw Jake into Boink. He used his own team as a weapon.
See, the thing is, if you're trying to run away from a bear, much like an angry monkey, you know, you need to run faster than your teammate, not be in the same place.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. All right, Bishu does have this SD, and there he goes, chucks it right over the wall. Where you gonna hide now? He will not find a kill, but he does create just a little bit of room to work with there. The sound barrier is out for Houston Outlaws. And that might be enough here to make the difference and allow them to clip this point. They are done capping it, and they'll start to get some percentage on the board, but Los Angeles Gladiators up to 79% already.
Yeah, Cool Matt with a nice job there of taking down the opposing D.Va. He knows that even if he can't get out of the sight line of that self-destruct, all he'll lose is his mech. He has to guarantee that he kills the pilot D.Va, and it's still a worthwhile trade for him, even though he's able to get out of that sight line as well. Big jump comes in from the Gladiators.
Fully committing. Fisher deciding to take the fight to him, but he's gonna get a pulse bomb instead. And there it is. Jake decides this is the moment, this is the time to shine with the tactical visor. Manages to pick up a couple kills behind that. And Cool Matt somehow finds Hydration in the mix with the self-destruct. Those were a whole lot of ults getting thrown into that fight for Houston Outlaws. And so now Los Angeles Gladiators should be feeling like they should have some room to work with here.
A very decent Tracer play, this time from Linkser. It seems like Houston is just creating a Tracer from the aggregate. They're not going to have a specialist. Everyone's going to play a little bit of it. Hopefully they can get the production out of it that they need. Shaz taking on Raucus is huge. Because of that, he's able to transcend into this mix, and now 2 quick kills.
2 quick kills, and Big Goose is one of them. That's a little bit unfortunate. Asher, however, making up for that, takes down Jake as well. A lot of DPS lost here for Houston Outlaws. And things shaping up nicely here. Linkser trying to hold the fort on the point, will eliminate Hydration, stop him from getting that presence going. And so it's a matter now of whether Los Angeles Gladiators can actually get something going on the point for themselves. Can they kill Linkser? Because the man right now is just buying so much time.
Fissure barely. Oh no! 1 HP. Jake will finish him off on the way out. Big Goose does avenge his fallen friend though. And it does seem like Gladiators gets enough kills. Is it enough to actually capture the point though? This could be one of those interesting times where you think you've got it. Oh, speaking of interesting times, that's a barrage of Pharah lift through. Mark it down.
They finally kill Linkser. Man was alive back there on the point, just keeping it active for Houston Outlaws forever. But now this is a favorable situation for Hydration. You can see he just gets to chuck rockets into Houston Outlaws into all these little choke points and just do the damage. Not a real answer to him either. Jake a bit too far away. Now it's
You know what, this is a favorable situation for Houston. They have 2 support ultimates to use. Transcend should come out momentarily. If that does not do it, then they should be able to get a sound barrier. Transcend comes out too late to save Linkser though.
Too late to save Linkser, and this is gonna be a Shaz fight now because Shaz has got Trance of his own, and it's just a second too late there to stop Jake doing the damage. Big Goose killed yet again. Jake trying to close the gap. Gonna get right in there. Face gets stuck though. Asher not gonna let him out of his grips. And so it's Raucus dancing on the edge here. But it is going to be Los Angeles Gladiators finding the kills, and we already have Big Goose ferrying Fisher back into this.
Raucus does keep himself alive, gets 1 kill, but then taken out late into that, and despite Houston having the huge ultimate advantage coming into this, Gladiators sustained through it and get the kills late. They will take stage number 1 of Lijiang Tower.
What excellent work. Loving it that Big Goose at the end, you know, that's the taxi service with Lucio. You res up, you're just gonna be able to run your teammates back from spawn so quick. Fisher able to make it there back in time to really just land, I mean, get that Tesla cannon in there, doing that cleave damage and getting the shield as well to keep his teammates alive.
Yeah, it's a really rough situation to be going into it with 2 support ultimates and then losing one of your main DPS right away. The main DPS on Lijiang Tower is your Tracer, and I'm not sure if Linkser was not with them and died because of that or what happened there, but you need to preemptively transcend to make sure that doesn't happen from Raucus, especially knowing that you have a sound barrier to follow up on. That sound barrier and transcend need to be active when everyone is active, not when you're taking a 5v6. That might have cost them the map there. They were in a great position. Neither here nor there. We are on Night Market now.
Night Market and Los Angeles Gladiators waste no time at all. They get straight onto the point. And they've gone for the triple tank, so they're going to be a bit beefy here, a bit tough to take down. Nice shot there on the Linkser. He just gets grazed, though. Not quite going to find that kill. But Asher doing a good job here of holding that angle. Linkser will eventually find his way in. Shad's under pressure, but then Hydration can't come back. Linkser has to be careful of the mines. Asher still going to go ahead and melt shields. That's exactly what Roadhog is good at as well.
And with triple tank, you do want to just take over the point. Your biggest disadvantage is wide open spaces and being flanked all over the place. This artificial choke, a max range hook punishes Linkser.
That was a monster one, and now Jake, well, yeah, you've got the tac vines. You're just going to be throwing it into big, beefy tanks who are going to take forever to die, but that might make the difference here as Boink finds a kill on Hydration as well. It's down to the 3 remaining players on the point, and they're not going to be around for long. Bishu's been Z-Mexed, and Shaz is wondering, what can I do? Oh, yeah, there we go, Jake. I like it.
Not surprising, Jake's emoting there. Love him or hate him, there's really no in-between in the Overwatch League. You're either a fan of Jake or you are, well, the exact opposite of that. See what the Gladiators want to do here, because they've been on triple tank long enough that they're starting to get ultimates up. Most importantly, Fisher's got his Shatter to go. However, Asher trying to get in, gets knocked off the edge by Boink. Fisher gets knocked as well. Gets a little shove, a little assistance from Muma, and they will vacate the issue.
Oh boy.
So what I was leading to was, they have all these ults with this triple tank, but triple tank is hard to take position back. What you love about triple tank, if you win this first point, is you camp right outside their door. Then they gotta walk through your shadow, they gotta walk through your bodies. But with this, now they're gonna try to speed boost it. This really smart. They get there, they get the positioning they want back, and now they have to watch it shatter.
And it connects full on, looking for the kill on Muma. Muma will die to the self-destruct from Bishu. Everything getting thrown into this fight here from the Los Angeles Gladiators, including the tire from Hydration that goes rip-roaring in. Doesn't quite find a target, though. Does he realize that Big Goose is right around the corner? Well, not gonna be Big Goose, but Boink.
Still trying to clean this up. They will finally flip it back over 25% and counting up now. Gladiators, a really smart move to be able to take their tanks and move over to the edge. Now, this is the position you want to be in. Rather, you would prefer to have your ultimates here, of course. You can lock down doors, but much easier to hold control with tanks than to take control.
Exactly, Asher can't overextend, but he can always take a breath. That sounded a bit scary there as Fisher gets caught out. Jake now realizing there's no shield, nothing here to stop him from wreaking havoc. 3 kills for him. And that's going to be Houston Outlaws quickly taking over the point yet again. Bishu demeched, everybody dead, sent back to spawn, get out, and they're up to 60% now. Houston Outlaws doing very well here on the second point.
Second burst, same as the first there, the closing out visor. Now we have to see what Los Angeles has in store. I mean, Houston can't allow them to speed boost over to the right again. That can't happen. They can't allow them to take the positioning that they want.
They were trying to go ahead and take that fight. Muma, though, with the Primal, is going to throw things into disarray, just chucking them left and right, but that doesn't matter when his entire team are dying. Seems like he's helping Gladiators more than hurting them, as Muma is not even going to be able to make it out alive. There's the reset. Lynx are still trying to live here on this point, though, as the Tracer, but eventually has to back off. And this is just back and forth, Hex.
I think Muma was actually trying to knock them back into his team, but maybe go the other direction and knock them off the edge. That's where they were so successful the first time, stymieing the tank push in here. Very back and forth. Houston only needs to win one more fight. Jake on the Jake Rat now. They still have some time to work with here. They don't have to panic just yet.
And there we go. Was waiting for it. Big Goose decides to commit immediately. He will have the coalescence from Shaz in just a moment's time as well. That could make the difference as Fisher goes launching himself through. Not going to quite connect there with Jake and decides he has to back up, give ground. The trance is out, so there is a chance here, but no, he gets flanked. Jake is relentless.
something you don't think about a whole lot about how disruptive Junkrat is to a Reinhardt. I mean, not only cracking the shield, that's the primary worry everyone sees, but those concussion mines, which are almost always up because you have 2 of them now, they knock you off course for charges. They knock you off course for shatters, everything that you're looking for. Tyre comes in looking to close it out. Big Goose down.
Super sick from Jake there to find Big Goose. That was a big kill that could actually turn things here. Jake still just chucking grenades. He gets body blocked in the door, but will be able to back out just in time to stay alive as they are still fighting this one out to the bitter end. Shaz doing everything he can to keep Bishu in the mech, and Asher is here as well. Asher eventually gets splattered by Cool Matt. There is still a presence alive for the Gladiators. The only issue here is whether Fisher can get anything done here with the Doomfist or not, and he's not even going to be able to get on the point. The perfect zoning self-destruct to hold them off of it just long enough, and Houston tie it up 1-1.
That's why you see Jake in the mix. There he goes seamlessly from the Soldier 76. Won a couple of fights easily with his visor. And then transitioning to Junkrat, and how you play against 76 and how you play against Junkrat are 2 different things. Able to disrupt everything is the reason you bring him in, especially because we're going to Control Center. And that's where you can see the Junkrat really shine. I mean, it's blasphemous. Maybe I'm just too in love with Clockwork, but I would like to see Jake and Clockwork on Lijiang Tower just once. Let Clockwork just run the Tracer 100% of the time. But that also could be because Linkser is maybe their best Zarya on this team, and you also want to keep that in effect as well. And I also don't think you ever take Linkser out of the lineup. I'm just theory crafting here. We'll see how it goes. We have one Junkrat and a McCree on the other side of things. Hydration has brought out the fist.
Yeah, he's looking to connect it with faces as well. Not quite going to find it that time, but that definitely cost Shaz his life. There we go, D-Mech coming through. Hydration with the big burst damage, and now he decides to get into the fight, into the mix, follows it up. 3 kills there, or at least the D-Mech on Cool Matt. Might as well count as 3.
It's such a combo hero. When Doomfist gets rolling, there's nothing he can do to stop him, but it was a little too late. That fight was essentially over the moment that Shaz died to J-Crat right there. It was just too much spam. When you don't have the healing for these things like that, you're in trouble.
Tough one there for Big Goose. And well, it's looking like they're going to have to back off and give some ground here, Gladiators. And now life gets a little bit difficult. There's that choke point right here where you see all of Houston Outlaws just running out into spawn. And behind the Rhine shield, there's that door, and you're not really getting back in here.
This is a lockout scenario. Movement at 93%, 5 more percent, he is going to have Shatter. How do you get through that? When that's over, how do you get through Linkser's grab? As long as these ultimates are used correctly, Houston's in a great position.
Oh, nice cancel out, though. Not quite going to connect. Can't catch Fisher sleeping, and then he is going to be in there in a moment's time with the grab, with a shatter of his own. They are going to be forced back to the point here, Houston Outlaws. And you can see Fisher trying to go for it, but he gets shut down immediately by Jake. Back and forth, still sticking together, but the man advantage lies in favor of Houston Outlaws, and it's looking like they want to press that, really just try and bring it home.
Bishu's grab got nothing. Here comes Linkser's grab. Can they have any sort of follow-up? No. Grabs are just essentially group hugs now. No one getting hurt in them.
Oh, but then, oh, the save! Fisher gets the shield up in time to cancel out the tower. And now it's on Fisher with the sound barrier. Does manage to get the air shatter down, and he's gonna get booped out of the way. Can't get anything going. Cool Man is gonna be the hero there.
Fisher and Bishu down. This is ridiculously frustrating if you've ever played Ryan. Oh my goodness, a double Deadeye goes in and takes Jake and Linkser down. Gladiators trying to bring this one back from the brink, and they will finally capture it, but not before 85% is taken for Houston.
This is the fight to the bitter end. Both of these teams so evenly matched.
Fisher blocked so many plays from the opposing team on his Reinhardt. It was insane Rhine play just to keep his team alive.
You're not gonna catch Fisher asleep, Muma. You know, swinging the hammer, going for the baits. No, I think not. Oh, there's the combo! Big plays coming in from Hydration, taking advantage of the grab, looking for the follow-up as well. It does get the kill on Linkser. That's enough. Back off, get topped up by your heels. And another fight here going the Gladiators' way.
A Space Jam combination, a slam down through it. However, Houston does a good job of holding on to ultimates here. Even though they lost the last fight, 85% is a one fight away situation. They've got Shatter, they will have Grab, there's a Tire, there's Coalescence, and they cross the screens.
crossing the streams, haven't you heard? Never do that, but it does seem to work out as Hydration will find the one. Tire yet again, not quite gonna find the kill though. It looked like the sound barrier was enough to keep him alive, and there it is, the shatter yet again. Muma though gonna get canceled out. Fisher is his dark horse, not able to get out of there in one piece. Asher finds that kill before Jake can lay him low. And Houston Outlaws have not been able to crack the defense so far. Fisher is just having none of it.
Muma trying to play some Rhine games there, trying to make sure that Fissure drops his barrier. Not going to fool Fissure though. That is another shatter that simply doesn't connect. I think Muma could have been a little more patient there. He had Matt working on Fissure's shield. If he just cracks it, then you can get a giant shatter, but at least they didn't throw the grab into this either.
Still have that to work with, and Jake is very close to a tire, so there is a potential combo, but we're already gonna have to get the grab thrown in here from the Los Angeles Gladiators. Fisher sets it up with two, the hammer doing work, and they will be trading back and forth, but Los Angeles Gladiators looking like they're gonna pull out ahead here.
They don't have any options. They have to be using all the ults they have. They did end up using the grab from Linkstone, and they get knocked off the points. The Los Angeles Gladiators bring it back here on Control thanks to some Doomfist, some excellent tank play by Fissure though. This man proving his worth. He's done it on Winston, but that was a beautiful display of just patient, passive Rhine keeping his team in it.
Absolutely. The number of shields he got up to cancel out ults to keep his teammates alive, and then just taking the fight right into him. Fearless, the man doing work. Houston Outlaws now have to figure out what they're going to do here going into the third map. But we're going to hear from the desk first after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back. No strings attached, but at the half, we're all tied up once again, ladies and gentlemen. Houston Outlaws, Gladiators, one apiece. So far, it's been a very fun series to watch, especially that last game, Control going the distance. It's Bucket with the boys. We got the roommates. It's reinforced alongside Bren. Get to work together all day, get to go hang out, and then do it all over again. Let's talk about this series here, guys, because it was a very fun start to Volskaya, and we saw some different looks coming in from the teams. What were the Gladiators doing in this game, Johnny? And what was the game plan on the other side, trying to counterpick knowing your opponent's strategy?
Well, they tried to adapt, right? First, we saw Surefour a lot on the Widowmaker. He tried to get some picks on the Widowmaker, but Linkser was on top of him, so he had to swap to the Genji instead. So a bit of adaptation going on. We saw Gladiators, Surefour on the Sombra, of course, on the defense. So a lot of different looks on Gladiators here coming out, but it didn't really work out for them.
Yeah, I was not pleased personally with the performance. I feel like Houston are a team that you have to play aggressively into every single time. With Surefour's playstyle when he's playing the Sombra and the Widowmaker, you're inherently going to just be playing a lot more passive, a lot more patient, and that's going to be working against you. We saw multiple times where Surefour was on the Sombra, right? He was hacking at the half packs, he was trying to build up his EMP, he'd get caught out of position, and he'd relocate back over to his teleporter, right, at the half pack, but surprise, surprise, Boomer and Coolmat were already there waiting for him. You cannot play this sort of style against a team like Houston Outlaws. They will just outplay you every single day.
Yes, and Houston looked a lot better overall, and actually, they tried to play dive, Gladiators, that is, but even then, Houston had it on top of them. We have a stat card we can maybe pull up where you can see Fisher and Asher, I mean, they just hunted Raucus down. You can see here, final blows on Raucus, and Raucus died 10 times. Fisher got him 5 times, and Asher got him 3 times. So, I mean, that just tells you the story that they were playing dive, and Fisher and Asher, in combination with Surefour's Genji, they were just looking for the backline. So they had a pretty good plan here going over it, and I have a illustration we can maybe look at later, and we can talk a bit more about how they adapted and how Houston pulled away with it in this win.
Where did you see the adaptations most? As we take a look at your telestrator, was it on the defense? Was it on the attack? Where were we seeing the Gladiators move off of the dive?
It was on the defense, actually, where we see this. And we're going to look at a illustration here. So Raucus, actually, is positioned all the way in the back. This is the guy you want to reach, right? And this is a bit of an adaptation coming out of the Houston Outlaws, because if Gladiators want to dive onto him, that's a long way to go. You're going to take a lot of damage. So instead, we're going to see that the Gladiators are going to go around here. Very common strategy, of course, when you're playing on Volskaya attack. You want to minimize the gap so you take less damage on the way to the backline, of course, because that more HP wins your fights. Pretty easy. So actually, we're going to see a rotation coming out of Raucus here. As Gladiators are rotating around the pillar, we're going to see that Raucus changes his position entirely because he knows that they're coming, right? So now we can see that Raucus instead, he's all the way in the back over here. And I mean, still, this is such a long distance if you want to dive from the Gladiators. So I really like this rotation coming in. And I mean, Houston Outlaws, they're expecting this dive coming in. We're going to see Coolmat is going to drive into Fisher as he's diving right around here. And he's going to fly off the map. Simply because they're aware of the Gladiators, of course, coming in with this dive. So a very nice adaptation coming out of the Houston Outlaws because they know that that dive is coming. Raucus is rotating around, and they're making it difficult for the Gladiators. In the end, this is what won them the match 1.
A lot of micro plays, a whole lot of teamwork and chemistry required, but I love the mental games that were going on back and forth here. Let's talk about the Tracers, because that was a big key point coming in. We thought maybe Houston has had some issues with their Tracers. How did they stack up as we take a look at some of the big plays? How do you feel they performed? Because we saw Clockwork for game 1, Jake came in later for game 2.
Well, overall, I think that Clockwork put in a pretty good performance, so I was a bit surprised to see him subbed in. Obviously, before the game, we heard that Flame said, we have a good Tracer. So they decided to field 2 of them. In the same game.
Why not?
I still haven't figured out who's the better Tracer. Linkser was obviously on the Tracer as well on Lee Jung, but Clockwork overall, I think he played pretty well here. He put in a lot of damage and made it hard for the Gladiators to reach the backline, as I talked about in my telestrator.
Yeah, overall, I guess the Tracer play was definitely up to par a little bit. Like you said, they ended up fielding both Jake and Clockwork, so I guess it's up to people to decide.
They have 3 Tracer players.
3 Tracers in the end, you know, they're just swapping as musical chairs.
But they have a good one, so.
But yeah, they do have a good one. It's Linkser, but we won't go into that. That map 2, though, That's what I want to talk about, because oh my days, that was a good map, a good series. I was watching that and I was thinking there's so many good plays. You could break that bad boy down from a round by round basis and you'd have content for days to talk about, because it was honestly a story in multiple parts. Like essentially all of my notes are going to be on that one map. What clips do we have to run through this one?
Well, we got to look at Asher here because we highlighted all of Houston, but now we got to look at the Gladiators, because Li Zhang, it goes 3 rounds, but it's going to be Asher and the boys walking away. And he showed us a little preview back on Volskaya. You saw multiple picks, so aggressive on the defense early on. But as this game played out, what impact is Asher having? Because when this Gladiator squad was being put together, you guys kind of questioned Asher on the Tracer role. Would he be able to keep up?
When this Gladiator squad was being put together, I did not question them. In fact, I thought Asher was a fantastic pickup. My issue with Asher is his consistency, right? Yeah, there's no quote there to be found. Listen, I've erased it from the internet. It doesn't exist. Fake news. But other than that, Asher, the guy is a fantastic Tracer when he's playing well, and that's the best thing about him, right? When he's playing well, he's on honestly a world-class level across the board. And this was a game where he was playing well. In this second map, as you can see here on Li Zhang Tower, the pulse bombers were excellent. Everything was sublime. He was getting the picks his team needed. And another thing I was happy that they did as well was he was working well with hydration. I said they needed to play aggressively. They brought hydration in. Suddenly, the pieces start clicking together and they start taking wins.
If you watched that match against the Spitfire last week, the Gladiators showcased the Doomfist. He's back today. Let's look at hydration, because I want to know, Johnny, we saw it in Control. Do you let Asher play it in the second half again?
Well, if you have some close corners to cover, definitely see hydration again. We saw the Space Jam combo back from Contenders. We haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And you got excited, Bren, about this one.
I honestly love the entire idea of running Doomfist, because he's so powerful, right? You've got that one-shot potential, so much damage output if you can play it well, but so few people can. So whenever hydration actually pulls it out, it's always a treat because he turns up with it. And that was honestly the key as to why they won out that series. It was so close both times. All the rounds went to the third final round on the control center, and I was like, there's no way Gladiators are winning this one against Houston, because they're so much better at running the Rhine comps. How are they going to win it when they've got such sick, like, Zarya players, such good Rhine players in the form of Muma and Linkser on the Zarya? But in the end, it was hydration. That was the turning point for me. It was his Doomfist play, turned the tide. I feel like Houston, they were caught off guard by it, ended up taking the win.
I took it easy on you guys during the pre-show. Now it's about to get hard. We're tied up 1 apiece. You've seen 2 games. I need your official prediction. We're starting with Johnny.
I'm actually going with the Houston Outlaws for this one.
Houston Outlaws!
Yeah,
Any fans here at the venue
coming
agree?
up. I've seen Mumas and Spree on the tanks. Kingstro is coming up. Let's bring it.
Brad?
I'm of a similar opinion, but not quite with my prediction. I feel like this is going to be a super close game because we're going to Kings Row. It's one of Houston's favorite. I am expecting them to take it, but I think this is going to be going all the way to a map 5, and I think Gladiators are going to be the one to take it in the end.
Gladiators!
Flip-flop here, mate. I was predicting Gladiators all the way. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Weren't.
Yes, I was.
Check the Twitch clip.
We're going to let these 2 argue back at home. That's going to do it for our halftime coverage. When we come back, we're going to Kings Row. It's my favorite. Yours too. We'll see you soon.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Stage 2, Week 3, the Florida Mayhem were up 2-1 against the Houston Outlaws going into Gibraltar. Time was running out before the first point for the Outlaws, and if they didn't make it, they would lose the map and the match.
Now Florida's game plan is to try to stall this out.
Jake made sure the point was theirs.
This could be perfect, and yes! Both supports dead again!
The Outlaws' Genji popped the Dragon Blade and took out the supports in Zebasai's Mercy and Zupe Zenyatta. He then eliminated the enemy tanks with his shurikens.
10 seconds left on the clock, and this is definitely a fight that Houston will win.
Not done yet, Jake and Linkser pounced on the Mayhem supports moments later, furthering Florida's stagger.
Blitz spawn punish, and those are the last two you want to die to.
The Outlaws took the map and later finished the reverse sweep of the Mayhem. That right there was the turning point where Jake and the Outlaws turned a sour moment into something sweet. Presented by Sour Patch Kids Candy.
We got another good one on our hands as the LA Gladiators and the Houston Outlaws are all tied up 1-1. Now, there was a funny moment in that first map where rockets fell off the edge of the cliff on Volsky Industries, and it got me to thinking about Volsky and when I'm attacking and I try to go up on the left side and I fall off the edge. It's happened to me several times. How many people has that happened to? Raise your hand if that's happened to you. Come on, be honest. It couldn't be just me. All right, well, maybe I'm a noob. But anyways, guys, we got a whole nother half to go. So let's go ahead and send it back to our casters, Similar and Hex.
You know, it's when you have those slippy thumbs on the controllers.
Definitely happens to me pretty often.
I thought you were doing like the Queen's Wave for a second.
No. So I like playing Tracer and Volsky, left side triple blink over there, and you flank, and you open it, you touch the point, and you open the door, right?
And then
we've done this before.
Yes, this is great, except that your team never follows up.
That's true. But what also happens to me is I'll do that triple blink at the left side, and there'll be an enemy, and I'm like, oh no, recall. But the recall drops you right off the edge of the trick. So don't do that. Learn from my mistakes. If you see someone over there, there's always a McCree waiting for me over there. I swear.
It's almost
just don't
what they
recall.
learn, Hex.
Just take it. Yeah, I know. Well, we do have some substitutions coming in. Shore 4 will be subbing in for Asher as we go to King's Row. And on the other side of things, Spree coming in for Cool Matt. You have to think that is to play a little bit of the Zarya.
Yes, because King's Row, man, Zarya Specialist Kingdom. This is where you get to see the grabs. This is where the bubbles come out. I mean, it almost might as well be a bath at this point.
You still think bubble bath, Sevler?
Damn straight. Come on, X. Hard days casting, go home.
Yeah.
Run the bath, smooth jazz on the music, light a few candles. Come on, man.
Smooth, yeah. You like the jazz flutes?
Mark Farina, bro. Mark Farina. Just throwing it out there, guys. Go and listen to the man. He is a legend. So, yeah, this is really just Zarya's playground. We've seen so much Zarya here on this map. Would it shock you to see anything else?
I mean, this is a map you can see almost everything. We've seen defensive Pharah, offensive Pharah, first to last. There is a couple teams that used to run a Sombra on King's Row. I mean, the only thing that would really shock me anymore in Overwatch as far as heroes go is to see, I believe this is how you pronounce it, Symmetra being played.
Stop.
So we have yet to see it. I'm going to bring it up until someone plays it.
Somebody, yeah. I mean, Muma just keeps toying with our feelings here. For all those Symmetra mains out there, you're horrible people, but you're also just rooting for Muma.
Symmetra used to be extremely viable first point King's Row first is to be played by a team called Melty, later a team called IDDQD, which became Envious, used to run a lot of Symmetra on first. Of course, then they became Dallas Fuel, and Symmetra no longer is played. That's neither here nor there. Considering it's Houston, I think at some point we're probably going to see a Junkrat when they're on the defense. They do like their Junkrat. And then Spree, I think, is 100% going to be playing this Zarya. He can play Diva. I mean, with Spree and Cool Matt, right? This is the difference. Cool Matt, Diva Specialist, very capable Zarya. Spree, Zarya Specialist, very capable Diva. Just, a dozen.
So you pick your poison.
6 to 1, half a dozen to the other. So we'll see, but that's no surprise. Spree is coming out on that Zarya. Linkser for the moment on a Hanzo. Hanzo very popular on King's Row, very viable, not just for the Sonic Arrow, and Jake will be playing the Dragon. So this is a very pick-oriented composition as they try to topple the high horse here.
Don't worry, guys. Eventually the shield will die. Eventually.
Yeah, and then they'll put another one down.
Yeah, the Shetland pony right now is working perfectly here for Los Angeles Gladiators. Just giving Surefour a foothold. He's been hitting shot after shot. He's nearly got in for sight already, right out the gates.
Yeah, I mean, Jake's going to have, well, I mean, he did switch momentarily. Now he's back on he switched to Junkrat, and he switched to Junkrat. The impetus is that now you can actually crack the shield, because right now they have nothing to be able to deal with this. They're going to have to rush in. Just going to not bother with it, but Rockus eats a mine.
I mean, I like it. You get a Hanzo close, right? That's exactly where an archer wants to be. Close quarters.
Yes, that is what the longbow was invented for, close quarters fighting. They try to get up the stairs. Fissure does go down to the scatter arrow. It's one of the great things about Hanzo's kit is that he can kill tanks with his scatter arrow, but they're going to res that immediately. And now they still keep throwing at this. I'm a little surprised they don't try a different tactic. You can go to the right side up the stairs, and then you're on even ground, try to bomb in or rush in that way. Or you can go through the hotel, which is what they're opting to do, but now you're going to eat all of this spam from the Junkrat.
Yeah, and Sureforce just chilling out, still looking for an angle. We're going to have the tire going right into the thick of things. Boink is gone. Unfortunately for him, he can't go involved. And so it is going to be a bit of a splatterfest here as Bishu pace Muma against the wall.
All right, so I think the reason that they're sticking to this is that they're hoping to bank up the ultimates to get to a Space Dragon combination. That would be a Graviton into a Dragon from Hanzo. Hanzo has it. You really can't defend against it. There's not enough healing from Transcendence. There's not enough healing from Valkyrie. The only way to even kind of start living through it is with a Sound Barrier and hoping, but it's really one of the best pure combos in the game. Spree dead, gets no more charge for his Graviton.
Don't worry, he will hit a shot eventually. Surefor, some missed opportunities there to have an impact, but he will get Infrasign out. We have the self-destruct from Bishu as well. Bingus will bring Hydration back into the fight as well, so Los Angeles Gladiators back up to full strength. And while Surefor, he's just plinking away right now, doing body damage to a Roadhog. That's never fun.
Well, Jake's gonna die late too, so they're gonna have to wait and reset. Muma now in trouble as well. Tried an Earthshatter again. Muma's about 0 for 200 on the Earthshatters today.
All right, but we do have the combo.
It better work, because this is what it's all been leading up to, and they only have 90 seconds left to get into this. They've been holding on to ultimates except for that Earthshatter, so now they need to find the right angle to get this in, and Bishu could ruin everything with the defense matrix.
He could eat it up exactly with the D-Matrix. That could cancel out the Grav. That would be a major issue, but already going to be the opening here. Spree trying to find a group of targets here to really make this all count. Even just a couple would be great, but they're doing a good job of closing off the angles here, Gladiators.
Yeah, he could just do this from below. Bishu now out of the mix. He could just lock it up right below them and then send the Dragon through. Linkzer's dead, though. They can't. They have to wait. Grav comes through anyway. Yeah, I guess you're bringing people together, but that's it.
You're bringing people together, but these aren't the holidays anymore. Surefor, the Grinch reigns on that parade. Spree is gone. And while Lynx are dead when the push actually goes through, that was a huge kill coming through from Bishu.
Spree's gonna go over to the Diva now. Muma's gonna transition into Winston, trying to get to some sort of dive. Lynx are still holding on to this Dragon. He might as well use it, just slam it across the point as his own. See if he can get something. That's exactly what's going to come out.
What he's going to do, he's going to put it right into the pony. Fissure is gone. That was Muma finding that kill. Muma nano boosted as well. Going to go up there and look for some squishies, and he's going to find Shaz, exactly who he was looking for. Hydration in the meantime is removed. Linkser and Surefor, though, takes down Jake, so a lot. The DPS are dead now for the Houston Outlaws. Muma fist to face, and Surefor is gone. But the Gladiators, they remain.
They need a couple more kills here. The defense still on the point, still fighting. They've got the Orisa back in the mix. Free out of mech. And Muma has his work cut out for him. Tyre could end it.
Tyre could make all the difference. And yes, finds Boink. Muma now on the point, trying to stay alive. He could be not long for this roll, although he does have the primal to keep buying time. Overtime Wick is burning now. Muma needs to tap that point, but he can't get onto it. Gets caught in the corner and not allowed to leave. Round one complete with the full hold for the Los Angeles Gladiators.
A little bit of stubbornness there, and then when they finally did get to what they were building for, which took them 2 minutes because Spree died a couple times. I mean, that Zarya grab should have been up faster by all rights.
And if Spree wasn't dead, it was Linkser.
He had a life where he went from like 70 to 81 alt charge, and that's not grand, and they were unable to get that combination fully working. You get that combo working, yeah, you gotta probably get a full team wipe. You don't, and you see what happened there. Houston stopped with only 1 tick on King's Row. Surefor had himself a good round.
Yeah.
We didn't call his name a whole lot, but he was picking off the low targets on that Widowmaker. He's that versatile, DPS for this LA Gladiators team. And I'm a little bit surprised at the stubborn nature that Houston came out there. When they once refused to change, then it was all banking on getting that combo going, and the combo never came together.
You're missing pieces of the puzzle. You got to check under the rug.
The moment they switched into dive, they started getting something going. So if you're diving the whole time and you start getting at least trades early on, it's always going to favor the offense. Offensive trades always are good on Kings Row because you're so much closer. Look, we have the overhead. You can see the offensive spawn, can't see the defensive spawn. That means it's closer. I'm no cartographer, but I think that's what it means.
Just measure it out real quick for me there, Hex. You know, we need to make sure. But pretty sure you're right. Pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. We get the map. We're going to get a little bit of a bird's eye view now of the setup here as far as the Houston Outlaws are concerned, where the defense is going to be playing from. And right now it's looking like close quarters action for them at least.
Well, it does look like Gladiators is going to run a dive composition, hydration on the Genji. Big Goose last second switching to a Sombra. This is interesting. This is something I haven't seen in nearly 18 months, 2 years. This is Complexity used to run this. The now defunct Overwatch team used to run a Sombra on offensive Kings first. There's the big pack. There's not a lot of great packs to support your team with, especially in offense, but you can support yourself with them.
You can go for the poke, farm up the EMP. He's already up to 50%. That's bonkers, man. 75. Could have the EMP for this next fight if he just hangs in there a little bit longer. And while his team are doing a good job of poking things out here with Houston Outlaws, just taking a look at the opening. Surefour, speaking of openings, he's trying to find one right now, kind of lurking in the back line. And there we go. EMP comes online. Big Goose now could have that golden opportunity, could just chuck his translocator in there and just go to town, or go Invis as well. That's an option. He's going to just drop straight down on top of him. Hello, there's the EMP. You guys want to cast abilities? Sorry, not going to happen.
2 down very quickly, looking for a third. Spree does get himself one, but that is it. Big Goose will clean up his own mess as Linkser now down and out of this fight. Linkser was on the Devo by all means, and that is it. The Gladiators run over Houston on Kings Row.
What fantastic work. A well thought out strategy, nobody dying out of turn here, and definitely, I mean, do you think that Houston were caught off guard by this? The fact that we, you know, even you, we're not really seeing the Sombra on offense in this case.
No, but it's super smart. If you know that Houston wants to run tank-heavy composition, Sombra crushes it. She crushes shields. Tanks, generally, their primary fire is not that strong. They rely a little bit on abilities. They're able to completely shut them down. Next, we're going to Gibraltar, where Houston hasn't lost after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
once again. Now Gladiators is up 2-1. During halftime, I got to talk to the coaches of the Outlaws, and we talked a little bit about their recent performance, more so about a tweet which Jake tweeted out right before the match. He said that, where is it? It's gonna be a tough challenge, but we are more prepared than ever. Quite a big statement, so of course I had to chat to their coaches about it. And he said, you know, for the first time in this stage, we actually practiced like we did in stage 1, and we haven't really done that for the past 2 weeks. They've been in a bit of a slump. They really haven't felt as motivated as they had at the beginning. So they're now feeling better. They're now feeling confident coming into this match. And this is great because whether they win or they lose, they will be happy with their performance because they did put in the work. And this is what we're gonna see on this very stage, the work they have been putting in. Let's see if they can bring it back on map number 4 and maybe even pull up a reverse sweep. And for all the action, we're gonna send it over to Semler and Hex.
Thank you so much, Zoe. So you know, just reeling it in, Hex, just reeling it in.
All right.
All right, so I mean, big questions here, right? You know, it sounds like a bit of fluff from Jake, so I'm glad that Zoe went in there to get the real hard-hitting answers. Are you satisfied with what the coach said, though? Oh, our players put in work.
I hope so.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. We hope that they're putting in work. That's what it's all about. Look, you work hard, you play hard.
Yeah, preparation is important, but it's also about being able to adjust on the fly. And I think that's exactly what we saw from the Gladiators. They're like, oh, you're going to run tanks? I mean, we're just going to run a Sombra.
Yeah.
I mean, something that's completely off the fly, but like it works. It's a really smart on-the-fly switch to make. And then to get that EMP as quickly as they did, and it seemed like they had practiced it before. I mentioned on Kings Road, there's not like the greatest amount of packs. There's a lot of baby packs.
Sure.
You've got the one in the Mandata statue that they were using the most to build up. Then you can go hotel. And then when you saw that the EMP was ready, what I was so impressed by was that he walked past a giant pack as Sombra, which is so hard to do.
Yes.
You're like, oh, look, it's a pack. It's not hacking us up. But he's like, I guess I'll go and EMP and win the game instead of hacking the pack. And it's a smart play.
That's what I was wondering about as well, right? He just goes right by it, beelines, and then everybody is just so, because hey, if you guys are going to hold in that corner, fine, that's great.
Yeah.
If I can just come right out over the top of you on top.
And on the other side of things, it's fine to prepare a strategy, but when it's not working, and switch off it. I mean, when you see that they're running that high horse, or in this case, the mini Shetland strategy of a kind of high horse being Orisa on some sort of high ground, you know, to not confuse people, we keep saying high horse.
Well, we keep saying high horse because on Anubis, right? You know, you had the really high ground, but then you had the little balcony there. And so what is it? Like it's a half horse?
It's a little
half horse. It's a pony.
The little Sebastian.
There you go.
And so they're running that, but then you're just running a Hanzo into it. Bonnie will come in for Boink. Not surprising here, as he'll probably be playing a Mercy for them. Gibraltar is a little bit of a high ground. Cool, Matt will come back in because Diva, very, very good on Gibraltar as well. So this is a match that you would imagine Houston has the advantage on. They've been very good on this map. Asher will also come in for Hydration. Now, this one's a little bit more questionable because Hydration is their Genji player for the most part. But I think Asher probably is a better Widow, which is why you want to run him on Gibraltar. So all the preparation in the world, to sum up my point, is good. But sometimes if something's not working, you have to be prepared to move on from it.
Well, they're bringing back in the A-team here, Houston, and this is going to be the true test as far as I'm concerned for Los Angeles Gladiators. They're up 2-1. Can they close it out here when the pressure is on? Because we've seen that the Houston Outlaws are capable of that. When it comes down to the line, they can tie it up 2-2, take it to that map 5, and then get the win there. So really, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Los Angeles Gladiators. What kind of performance can they give us here now that it is all on the line?
Yeah, how do they measure up to the pressure? I mean, they've been on a tear lately. They've been playing really close to the best teams in the league. They can come out and beat Houston, then you've beaten teams that have gotten to the Stage 1 playoffs in back-to-back weeks, right? So they beat London recently, they beat Houston, and it's only up from here since they've added Fissure. Look, it seems like he's elevated everybody's play. Everyone's playing better. I think Bishu was probably the big reason why they won on Lijiang Tower, at least on Control Center. He played really well. Hydration's playing with all the confidence in the world. And I think Asher's got to be thrilled. You bring in a main tank like this for a Tracer, you're like, oh, thank God. I only have to hit half my shots now because he's in there on everything. It really works out well with the dive. So he's elevated this team. Gladiators have definitely taken a step up.
They certainly have. I'm glad we had a bit of that piece there on him coming into this match where he was, throwing a little shade on the Spitfire, oh, Gesture's the best tank. No, The man is here to make a statement. He's here to prove himself and set himself up as a contender for the top spot in the league. He's definitely given us reason to think that he is capable. Well, yeah, don't worry, it's just a bush. Just a harmless bush that isn't full of bullets.
Why is that bush speaking in a British accent? I'm so confused.
Why is it asking for tea? Oh, wait. Look in there, Surefour. He was wondering if he could find an opening there, but I guess it's not going to be the case. We'll get the delayed hack on the big pack instead, translocate set, and now he's going to be able to go on the hunt. Fisher, however, right now getting whittled down. That's all according to plan. It's really this deadly duo of Surefour and Asher working together into the back line. Lynx are out of the fight, and well, big risk taken there by Bonnie. Survives, but that was by the skin of his teeth.
Asher just a step too late there to be able to shut that down. It could have been absolutely game-changing to be able to kill the Mercy, shut down the Resurrection. It's essentially a double kill when you get something like that going, because the Resurrection doesn't come through and you've killed the Mercy, but one clip away from doing so. Surefour only at 35% here. I like the notion to run the Sombra there early, and it did exactly what it was supposed to be able to shut down Lynxer, who's always in that spot. It's where every Widow really is to open things up.
He needed to find that kill on Raucus, though. There was a bit of a duel going on between them, and that was taking way too long, meaning no farm for that EMP. But now, well, with the poke here, he's got that Huck pack. He's going to be able to get that EMP rolling fairly soon here. He's up to 65%. So ramping up. Surefour looking for the opening. You got Jake minding the point. That's great. So long as he keeps the presence there, that point's going to keep making progress, and Los Angeles Gladiators are going to have to do something about it.
Yeah, Asher does go down to Lynxer, but Surefour at 90%. And if you think about it, this point makes all the sense in the world to play a Sombra on, where teams have been playing in the control room, or the server room rather. There's the mega pack in there, and the Sombra can go into the small pack. Back cap in action though, trying to happen. However, Gladiators are able to sniff it out.
All right, well, Asher is going to have to go toe-to-toe with Jake right now. They are in a tight duel. Asher nearly dead. Jake coming out ahead in that one. But Jake, I love it. This is some soon play. And again, the back cap straight up. Jake with the hero plays here for Houston Outlaws. Los Angeles Gladiators, you can't blink or Jake will run it right through.
There's nothing to say. That it's just a mistake. It's not like it's the first time you tried it. That was the third time you went back to the well. Do you think he's not going to back cap anymore? When that happens, you have to just leave someone there. Or rotate everyone to a different spot. There's a defense that will cover that point. It's high ground and it's hard to rotate to it. But one of the best ways to rotate to it is go through server room. There's stairs. Stairs go right up there.
Stairs do go up in general. They also go down. Lynxer right now is trying to put some people in the ground. 6 feet under preferably. He's got that high ground advantage. And so now, well, it is going to be about the space here. Who's going to be able to find a way through? Surefour getting chased off by the poison. That's never fun.
Just trying to poke around right now.
Ooh. I like it. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was a bit scary. I got scared.
Asher looking for this pulse bomb. It's one of the only ways to take on his Zenyatta, who's got a Mercy in his pocket. Surefour actually comes in, gets the cleanup there. Rock is out of the mix. Gets brought back to life, though.
They are brought to a bit of a halt. They still have time on the clock here. 3 minutes 30. Asher and Surefour right now, I think they're about to go Lynxer hunting. They're moving together. Yep, there it is. Gig is up, and are they going to be able to get him? Yes, they do! Asher is there to find the kill on Lynxer. Job done. Back off. And well reset.
It's a really good job. Widowmaker's very difficult to deal with on this map. You don't really want to have to send the tanks up there, so if you get your DPS up there to do so, then the DPS are in a good position to jump onto the backline from where they are on the Widowmaker anyway. This fight will continue though. Transcendence out for Gladiators.
Transcendence is up, a bit of HP. There will be the self-destruct, but they should be able to get out of harm's way. Yep, nobody getting clipped by that one. Los Angeles Gladiators sticking in this fight. Jake is just indestructible. They just can't seem to kill this guy. He is a constant presence on this cart, pressuring the back line, and now Raucus decides it's time to go. And Glow, he is going to be getting in here with the mass healing for his teammates. Fisher just keeping that pressure going on Lynxer. Lynxer just can't find an inch to breathe with here.
Well, meanwhile, while that's happening, everyone on the cart is getting kills for Houston Outlaws. Lynxer left to his own devices will kill too. Shaz will jump off the edge in an attempt to reset there. Does not want to get the bad spawns. 2 bad spawns happen. They'll go into the drink of Gibraltar.
Oof. I like it. There's even the water animation there. I didn't know that.
This is Lynxer. He's getting harassed, and then he pops his vision. Then blink.
Whoa. Yeah, that was clean. Revenge for earlier.
Well, it's interesting that the Gladiators are not going to run their own Widow right now because I think it's one of the best answers to a Widow of Linkzr's caliber. Short 4 does have a Blade, so maybe after this life, Blade is out for Short 4. He's got supports in his sights. They are able to take down Bonnie, but that is it. Shaz and Short 4 will fall in short order as well.
And you still have Jake on this Tracer, such a thorn in the Gladiator's side. He's found a gap to work with here. Bishu not going to be able to get the remake. Yes, times it perfectly. They tried to get the collapse on him, but Moma just a second too late there to convert that kill. Still, I mean, they're getting the job done right now, Houston Outlaws. The staggers really throwing a wrench in things for Los Angeles Gladiators.
Well, now Short 4 has no choice but to go to the Widowmaker because they have to deal with Linkzr and they don't have the ability to send tanks at him at this point. Look where the card is. That's where the fighting has to really happen. Linkzr almost takes down Short 4 immediately. That's a huge kill from Fissure. They will stabilize off of that alone.
Yeah, what a great dive coming in. All of them moving together, Asher, Bishu, Fissure, moving in together as a trio and just collapsing on the Houston Outlaws, not allowing them to get any room to work with there. So the reset comes through for Houston, just waiting for those reses to come through. Raucus has got the trance and Benny as well. They have quite a bit to work with, in fact, because Linkzr's not going to be able to see through walls along with the rest of his team.
Pops it immediately there. Asher still lurking in the back, looking for a giant pulse bomb. Dissuaded by a shot to the dome from Linkzr.
Yeah, definitely needed to get out of dodge there. Fissure, though, he goes primal as well, a little bit later than Muman, so he's going to get to swing his mitts just a bit more. Jake gets the D-Mech on Bishu, though. Big tank down here for Los Angeles Gladiators. Fissure just trying to back off, play it safe. We need Asher to step in here, but it seems like Linkzr's got a sixth sense. He hears the steps. Asher not able to get the sneak.
Trying to get a Tracer duel still commencing right now. Asher is out of there. Short 4 on the Bastion of all things. It's a nice switch towards the end, but he has to fight outside of sightlines, otherwise Linkzr will eat him up.
They're exactly right. You can see he's just taking shot after shot. And now Linkzr decides to commit to this fight. Bonnie is going to get the res off on Moma, so the Angry Monkey can get back into this fight. There's the headshot on Shaz. That's fantastic. And Coolmat will find Big Goose. It's looking like Houston Outlaws. They've got the horns out right now, and the Gladiators have no way to deal with it. Outlaws come through and pick up 3 points on Gibraltar to kick off the potential last map of this series.
It's so important to have a solid Widow on the last point of Gibraltar because you saw all the damage Linkzr was doing. Then you're having Infrasight up all the time, which means that your Tracers can't even flank. Try to get to the backline, but they saw Asher coming both times that he tried to get there. Short 4 was not up to the task on the Widow to at least dissuade Linkzr. Tried to go to the Bastion, which is cute, but it doesn't really work. Not in the position Linkzr was. The moment that they knew there was a Bastion there, Linkzr took from that far vantage to the mid bridge, and then you're able to see inside that spawn anyway. Bastion's never going to get anything done.
Yeah, that angle's going to be too closed to be able to... I mean, they're already going to be on top of the payload, like on the point by the time you can have any impact with it. Now, Los Angeles Gladiators, it seemed like they really had a game plan. You know, get on Linkzr, pressure him down, dive together. They just weren't quite able to get it to work. Houston Outlaws, I mean, this is a map where they excel. And you can clearly tell that, you know, they're so comfortable here. They know what to do.
They excel on this map because Linkzr is one of the best Widows in the entire Overwatch League, and it's such a good Widow map. You saw you didn't have to switch Widow the entire time. I would say that's a good Widow map.
Yeah.
Run it first to last.
I mean, just hitting headshots everywhere. Some of them were pretty disgusting as well.
Look, the Gladiators knew that's what they were going to run. Houston's not surprising anyone by running Widow from first to last point. That's why they started off trying to run the Sombra. That's why they're camping that spot. That's why very early on, Short 4 didn't even show himself on the Sombra, because his only job is to deal with Linkzr there. I really think like it all comes down to that first point could have been very different had they gotten that kill on the Resurrection.
Yes.
They got Linkzr, and then they almost got Mercy and Linkzr again, but it's just half a clip too late from Asher, unable to do that. All right, now Houston is on their own defense after finishing the map with a $110 in their time bank. Again, Widow battle's gonna be what to look for. Shaz gonna fire off an arrow, see where the team is, then switch over to the Zen.
Yeah, it instantly goes back over to the Zen. Gonna be some orb on orb action down the line here between him and Raucus. Raucus attempting the cheeky volley at the start, just barely gets that timing wrong. And so they are going to start making some progress here, Gladiators, down into the car wash.
Short 4 is going to take a peek out, set a bullet back that other way. Yeah, this is exactly what I thought. It's interesting that they didn't try this earlier, because Short 4 wasn't having a great life, because Asher, as I mentioned previous to the map, is the better Widow of the two, I think.
I mean, we're seeing some results, but Bonnie once again will bring Linkzr back from the grave. And Linkzr now That back line going to be tough to get a hold of him unless Asher can hit that headshot. He will get the body shot. That's not going to be quite enough. Linkser will get topped back up immediately by Bonnie. The pocket is real right now. He's comfortable in it.
Puts Bonnie in a little rougher spot. Bonnie did need a shot of his own, but he has to get out. Cool Matt there to find Asher. Now they are going to be evicted from this point, being pushed out, and he can try to play around this pack.
Great work coming through. Fisher doing the best that he can here, along with Surefour and Bishu. They're getting slowed down quite a bit. The main thing here is that Houston Outlaws in the first point, they had Jake, who was just constantly camping the point, constantly getting it forward until he could actually back cap it. And right now, Los Angeles Gladiators are not able to get any kind of presence on the point.
A little bit of trouble right now, too, as they're just getting pushed all the way back. Lynx are able to see through walls, gets himself a couple of shots, able to set up a Venom mine there as well. Now just going to fall back. No need to play forward here. Jake on the lurk.
Oh, he was so close. And then backs out.
As long as he can live, he can give it another shot.
Wings are out now for Big Goose, so this is going to be the big one here. Are they going to be able to get something out of this push? No, Muma will find Surefour. No Blade. Going to be in the action. Self-destruct, thrown out. All right, Muma's going to be able to get around the corner in time, stay alive, and dodge that one. Now it is about just grinding things home, because this entire fight, they're not making any progress with the payload Gladiators. They're looking to win the fight straight up. But that cart isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter if they get progress on the payload, then lose the fight, 'cause it's just going to start rolling back down anyway. I mean, the big problem here, and it's simple to say, but I don't know how you answer it, is that Linkser's just winning all these Widow battles. There it is again.
It's almost as if you can predict it, Hex.
I've said time and again, and I will stand by until he proves me wrong, is Linkser's the best counter sniper in the game. Yeah, I mean, there's other snipers who maybe have bigger streaks that go off, or Spletic comes to mind, but if you just give me one Widow to fight another Widow, I take Linkser every day of the week.
Man, he's hitting flick shots now, too. He's just getting into his element in the zone right now.
No one can hide.
And now, yeah, yet again, more time getting burnt off this clock as you can see through walls.
Yeah.
Now that's going to really destabilize things for the Gladiators.
Gladiators have conceded the Widow battle. They're done with it. Asher's off of the Widow, is going to go on to Tracer. They've just transitioned into pure dive. Surefour needs to get something done here. He needs to be the one to pressure down Linkser and at least get him out of the fight.
He needs to survive so he can actually get that Dragon Blade into the fight as well here, because he got clipped early in the last one. No impact from him. And well, now they decide to go in, and yet again, Moma just focuses him down. Deja vu. Surefour is gone, and now Linkser gets to just reign supreme and hang out looking for shots on these angles. Asher out in the open, not quite gonna find it. Body shot there, and Linkser gets it done with the machine gun.
They popped Valk there, which is the only somewhat questionable decision from Bonnie. He may have been pressured down and wanted to live through that to make sure. It's not the last fight, but it's close enough to it. That is a huge stagger kill, though. Asher dead. 16 seconds left. They have to sacrifice positioning just to get to card. This is not the push they want, but it's the only push they have.
And I'm really liking this from Houston as well. They know every second counts at this point, and Linkser is just holding so far forward, so aggressive, that Los Angeles Gladiators now need to just dive in here with both tanks. They will leap up to the high ground, but again, grappling hook straight out of harm's way, and now Linkser just gets to take pot shots all day.
Well, Moon was about a mile away in the backline. He will eventually get Shaz, and he can do that because any second he needs to, he can pop Primal Rage. There it is, and there's Transcend as well.
Transcend thrown out, but just continuing to keep him alive. Cool Matt Hunt's in the backline right now, and Moma will eventually find Big Goose. We're into overtime now. It's all or nothing for the Gladiators, but there are so many players here for Houston Outlaws just finding kill after kill. Bishu with the self-destruct will find nothing, and it doesn't even matter. Asher could have swore he managed to get onto that point, but he's not going to make it in time. And the Houston Outlaws will hang in there after all.
The Houston Outlaws absolutely own Gibraltar. Everyone else is just leasing it. And it's because of Linkser. You can't say enough. Linkser absolutely dominated the Widow fight on offense and on defense. Made the teams play something different. Didn't work out for him. Houston remains undefeated on Gibraltar. We're going to a map number 5 to decide the series next.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to get into it. They have done it yet again, Houston Outlaws. They've forced a series to map 5. Well, this is where they definitely thrive, Hex. They do come through in the clutch.
It's always exciting when you have Houston in a match. You know, they're not always going to give you the closest ones, but we get reverse sweeps. We, you know, all the way to 5. I'm always a big fan of 5. If you're Houston right now, you're praying to go to Ruins because Linkser can absolutely shut it down. Gladiators have shown they have no answer to a Widowmaker here. Boink will come in for Bonnie. He will be playing the Lucio, very likely. And they're going to take Shore 4 out of the lineup and add in Hydration here. Give him a little bit more versatility, a little more projectile.
I'm calling it right now, Hex, that you cursed them during the break and that we're going to start on Ruins.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did say, they better hope they don't go to Ruins.
Exactly. And it's like, yeah, obviously, with Linkser popping off.
Yeah, they had no answer. And look, you can start sending tanks after. You have to start doing something. Like, you can also try to do the thing where you completely ignore the Widow. And it is possible on Ruins to ignore it more so than it is on Gibraltar. Gibraltar is a ridiculous, I mean, I believe they drew 3 sight lines and then built a map around it for Gibraltar. I mean, that's how it feels with Widow. She's super oppressive on that map, and if you don't have an answer or someone who can at least kill her 1 out of 3 or 4 times, then you're in trouble.
Well, it's the fact that on first point, she can grapple from the front all the way to the back balcony. Yeah. Right? Like, just grapple away. You saw it. You dive her, doesn't matter. She grapples halfway across the map. Good luck hunting her down.
No, you have a sightline from essentially 5 feet out of your spawn on first to where the first point needs to be. And then on second, you have sightline from where you just got the cart to where it needs to be. And then on last, it's essentially, I really think they drew 3 lines, and they're like, okay, now build a map around it. All right, anyway, I did not curse them. We're probably not going to start on the Ruins. In fact, I know we aren't. I have a different screen than you do. We're going to start here on the Lighthouse.
Don't believe their lies.
Don't believe his lies.
They could all just go to Ruins immediately. It is going to be the Lighthouse showing the way.
The Sombra hack screen comes up,
exactly.
And then Ruins comes up.
That would be so sick. Just wreck you right there, Hex.
All right, well, this is a map that you see a lot of Soldier 76 on, especially when New York and London played. Houston taking a page out of that book, going to send Jake on the 76. Meanwhile, the other side of things, LAG wants to run a pure dive composition.
Well, we'll see how they fare. This is going to come to, well, I mean, yeah, if you're going to play around the dive, you're going to play around Fisher. That's definitely a good thing. Gladiators just getting into the thick of it again. We've seen this work for them in the past in this series. They are able to get the poke, but Cool Matt will get the D-Mech on Bishu, and so things not quite working out here for the Gladiators. That's going to be a bit of a tough scenario now for Bishu to get that mech going again.
Fisher was very low, had to back out early. That opens things up for Houston to be able to step foot on the point, get as many kills as they can, and take this point for free.
Nice try there, Big Goose. Going for the boop off the edge, crossing his fingers, hoping to get lucky. Wasn't meant to be that time. We did have Asher there trying to threaten the back line. And well, now some big kills coming through. Hydration will get deaded. Jake with the Helix in the back. Hydration definitely thinking he had he had Raucus there dead to rights.
Yeah, he did have him dead to rights. There's no way that should have happened, but then he eats it. Now they're going to flip it back over. Gladiators have taken control of the point, but this time Houston wants to reinitiate.
Oh, that's a big kill, though. No tactical visor here for the Houston Outlaws to work with. Boink still has his sound barrier, but they're deciding to back off, regroup, and wait this one out because Los Angeles Gladiators currently ahead in terms of the ult economy, and Hydration is taken to the skies.
Well, now that they have control, the point is going to be very good for Hydration. You're going to just start firing, blind firing rockets to the edges here. It's been interesting to see the style of Farah kind of change now that there's no mercy into it. They have to play much more passively, just looking for chip damage and then trying to find their moments when it does open up. Jake trying to run away from this all, but the ground army's still there.
You can't run away from Asher. Doesn't work. He can blink through time and space. How do you run away from that?
Carefully? I'm not sure. I don't think you can.
That's exactly the answer I was looking for there, Hex. You can't. All right. Jake, he wasn't able to get the attack and play before, though. Not quite going to get the Helix. That would have been big, and he decides to just whip out the attack visor immediately. Sound barrier is there, but he gets overwhelmed. No joy for Jake, nothing but a cold grave, and well, it's gonna be Fisher backing off, hoping to stay alive. He is barely getting topped up here by his Lucio. Big Goose, please.
It's about as bad could be there with that tactical visor and sound barrier combination. They got 0 out of it. That's something that you expect to be able to use both of those ultimates and win a fight because of it. Not going to happen though.
Okay, a bit of a champ
I was
war.
trying to figure it out as well.
Yeah, shields up, and guess what? Barrage on Jake again! Hydration sets the trap. Jake walked right into it. Muma's left all by his lonesome on the point. And Fisher, yes, goes primal. This is definitely not where you want to be. Oh, the timing. He will get the jump back in time. Right back onto the point.
98% and counting up, and it's desperation time. Muma's able to take down Shaz, but he will give his life for it. Outlaws have to take this point back or they're down a stage.
Oh, yeah, exactly. This is going to be a fantastic start. It could be Ruins coming next, so there's always a chance, but overtime it is in, and they are just launching themselves onto the point. Jake dead yet again, and while everybody else along with them, nobody close enough to tap the point to keep it alive here for the Outlaws, and Los Angeles Gladiators will take the lead.
This is going to sound facetious and odd, but what impresses me most about Hydration is that he uses Barrage and lives through them more often than anyone else. There's so many people who are... Yeah, bye.
What a boop.
There's so many Pharahs who are way too greedy with Barrage and end up dying for it. Take your kill. Take your one guaranteed kill. I mean, he understands that that's as good as it gets. You lock it down, you have all the burst damage in the world. There's also Pharahs who choose to initiate with Barrage, which is simply a death sentence. It's a good cleanup ultimate. Hydration has played the Pharah without the Mercy especially, so smart.
Well, turns out you had 50-50 odds there, Hex. And well, sometimes it's not gonna go in your favor. We will get Ruins after all. It's time for Linkser to go to town yet again. Spots out Asher, hello, yes, now I know where you are. I know the angle to be looking for.
They got a Sombra on the side of LAG here, and they're going to try to take over that right side pack, and that's going to mean that a lot of the healing the flankers from the Houston Outlaws are going to rely on is not going to be there. Oh man, we'll take down Shaz. Shaz on the Tracer of all things. So they're going to run Hydration on the Lucy. What is this?
What's going on? I mean, this is a bizarre sort of setup here for Gladiators, and well, Bishu will be able to find a kill on Jake, but Houston Outlaws will pick up the first percentage gain here on the point. Linkser now has free reign. Hunted deep for a headshot there.
Okay, I mean, this is all comes because Asher has to play Widow, so they also want a Tracer. Hydration doesn't play Tracer, so he's on Lucio. It looks like the Gladiators have queued up mystery heroes here, but they're making it work.
They are making it work with the EMP. Those are 2 kills coming through. The DMAC on Matt. Well, Linkser gets the fadeaway on Shaz. That's a feel-good moment for him. But he is getting hunted down, and he will die eventually. No! Gets the pack just in the nick of time to stay alive, and now Fisher will eventually tase him to death.
I mean, Asher has done his job on the Widow. Hydration, no stranger to the Lucio, apparently is going to boink, boink off of the edge. A taste of his own medicine there. And despite this weird composition from the Gladiators, like, it makes sense if you take it step by step. It's just odd to see Hydration on Lucio, of all things. But I guess Shaz, I mean, look, Shaz has played Genji before for this team. Shaz is definitely mechanically gifted enough to play DPS, so we'll see it. I want to see Shaz in a Pulse Bomb. I want to see him Pulse Bomb Zenyatta, because how long has he been waiting for that?
Yeah, you know? Right. Oh, this feels good.
I get it now.
I get it now.
I get it. I get why you would do this.
It's very even right now between both of these teams. Moma not going to have the Primal anytime soon. Hydration just about to take over to the sound barrier. So we'll have 5 ults up and running for the Los Angeles Gladiators. Big Goose is going to find exactly what he's looking for, but again, Rock is so quick with the reactions. We'll get that trance out in time. Definitely did not want to use it then, perhaps, because now it's going to be gone, and we get into the real meat of the issue here. Bishu finds the kill on point. Linkser gets caught by Shaz. And right now, things definitely favoring the Los Angeles Gladiators.
It's 4v4 still really up in the air right now as far as who's going to win. Fisher is able to take down his counterpart in Muma. Hydration will fall to Raucus. However, control of the point still in favor of Houston right now. As long as they can stalemate this, they're in a good position. Jake will finally fall. Gladiators have swung this back.
Yeah, we will have Coolmouth getting staggered here as well. That's never pleasant. Not long, however. Asher gets impatient and gets a bullet to the face. Linkser's there to win that duel. Shaz looking to follow up on it, though. Linkser in a bit of hurt, and he is going to be put to the ground. Los Angeles Gladiators making progress. They've pulled ahead now, 63% and counting.
Extremely back and forth here. Shaz is up here to make sure that Linkser cannot go up there. Linkser has gotten off of the Widow now. Very hard to retake control of the map with the Widow rather than a Genji, so that's what he'll switch on to. Houston has transitioned themselves into a pure dive composition. And they're going to have to push into a Sombra Widow.
Sombra Widow, it happens. Big Goose is getting very close to that EMP as well. Chaz in the back line will find not the stick, goes to the recall, decides not to brave it out. Well, eventually we'll go ahead and get the D-Mac on Cool Man, but then gets hacked to bits, or at least punched in the face by Muma. It's looking like Houston Outlaws are not done yet. They're swinging this fight back their way. Nothing Asher can do about it instead of dying apart from that, of course.
They just used EMP as well. Muma's able to stay alive and get a lot of good damage here. He's hacked, but it is too late. He will wave goodbye to his counterpart off of the edge there. They've got a self-destruct nearing Infrasight as well. That Shaz non-kill on the Zenyatta could end up being very big. You have to think a more veteran Tracer goes deeper and hits that.
Yeah, just commits to it.
Yeah.
Shaz decided to back out that time. He will find the kill on Cool Mac here to kick things off. Jake recalls back to full HP, gets the big stick. And does he manage to get the D-Mac? Yes, he does, but it doesn't matter because the self-destruct is out. And in the meantime, Fisher getting into the back line, takes down Boink. Jake wins the duel versus Asher, but this is still back and forth. Not quite done yet. Muma, the focus point here as Bishu and Shaz are working together against Lakeser, but then Fisher comes leaping into the fray and finds two. Turning it around here. They have not managed to flip it just yet, but it is right on the brink.
99.99, Matt's gonna drop a self-destruct on the point. He will get hydration, unable to get out of the mix. Fisher's off the edge as well. Houston not out of this just yet. Must win this stage to stay in it, but the Gladiators are cleaning up.
And they're sticking together. That's the key thing. If they can keep working this out, Boink was hacked there for a moment. That's not gonna help things. He gets deaded, and now it's on Linkster with the Dragon Blade. Has to come up big. There's the one, looking for a second. He'll find it. Now for the third, but he's done his bit. They're still in this fight. Overtime now, and if you leave it for a split second, it is over. But it's all on Houston Outlaws to try and win this fight, hands down versus the Gladiators. It is not looking likely. Cool Mac keeping it alive here for the Outlaws. The very bitter end as Boink comes into the fight as well. But 4 alive, and the sound barrier used just for the 2 of them to try and keep hope alive here for the Outlaws just a little bit longer. Linkster will be in it, but it's not gonna be enough. Overtime burns down. And the Los Angeles Gladiators win 2-0 on map 5 versus the Houston Outlaws. Hanging in there.
In a very strange composition, using every tool in the kit there. In the 5th and final map of the series, the Gladiators take down the Outlaws. You know, with your standard hydration on Lucio, Big Goose, Sombra, Asher, Widowmaker comp. The same thing we see never.
Never, exactly. I feel like Houston, they've spent a little bit of this match scratching their heads wondering what is going on here. They've been caught off guard with the strats. Everybody throwing down here. What a match going to map 5.
You know, that's one of the things I really admire about the Los Angeles Gladiators, though, and it goes down to their ability to see something, react to it, and you know what? We'll make it work. Let's go to the desk, see what they had to say about that matchup.
This was some ridiculous stuff tonight. LA makes some noise for these two teams. What a show. It went the distance, all 5 games. And I gotta give credit, Reinforce, you nailed it at the head. You said it was Gladiators.
Cover your mic up, son. Don't you take this glory away from me. I predicted it. Game 5, Gladiators gonna win. Who, other than the Oracle, would predict this win? Only me. Only me.
You did it.
All golf clap for Brent, but really, let's applaud the teams that got the job done. Let's go back to Kings Road because it was all tied up at the half. This one, we've seen it go the distance. We've seen so many alt combos on this map. And we asked our producers, we're like, can you get us a bunch of alt combos? Normally we get a banger. Today it was more like a Soulja Boy mix, because this one's a little bit weak.
It was weak, wasn't it? Like, I asked them, you know, grab some ultimates. We want to see some big plays. And unfortunately, Houston did not provide them. And Kings Row is a map that we would consider them very good at. But in this case, they sort of got counteracted a little bit by Gladiators. They were ready. They were prepared. They came into it with the high horse strategy, as they say. That's such a sick shield as well. That last-minute block. It's just unreal.
Yep.
The most impressive part of this game for me, though, was the fact that Houston Outlaws were stuck. They weren't able to get the most out of that grab. and they were stuffed short, didn't get point number 1. Now, Bren, I know you said there was a specific moment that led to the win here for the Gladiators. What was it in the final?
Yeah, this is it. The final moment, it's Gladiators' last-minute push. I want to just highlight Big Goose on the Sombra. We saw a lot of it today, but this was how they won it. In the end, he built up this EMP in 35 seconds. And I have a statistic for you as well. Big Goose is the only man in the Overwatch League so far to have played Sombra on King's Row. This guy is a specialist on it, and honestly, just an all-around fantastic player.
He helped them win Game 5 on that Sombra as well. We're going to keep this rolling. We got 2 more games to go going into Game 4. Gibraltar up next, and this is where we thought, all right, Gladiators, you got a chance to lock it up. Instead, it was Houston so strong. Linkser on the Widow, but it was the whole team that really impressed us here, Brett.
Yeah, take a look at this coordination here. So Houston, they jump on the cart, they force Gladiators back, the tank line goes to defend it, they use Transcendence and everything to defend it, but that leaves the back line open, and Linkser, he's ready to take free pickings at the back lines. And this was a common theme throughout this entire match.
It was the Linkser show throughout Gibraltar.
Exactly.
Because Surefour really couldn't stand against it. We saw Surefour on the Genji try to dive onto Linkser. They couldn't reach him, too far of a distance to dive. So Surefour, he said, okay, let me play the Widowmaker. And, well, that didn't go too well either. I mean, Linkser was just a beast. And even on Volskaya, it was the same story.
Right.
It was Linkser, once again, on the Widowmaker, pulling it out for the Houston Outlaws. So both of these maps, really, credit to Linkser for actually being the go-to guy who actually carried the game.
And Jake had a few awkward moments on Tracer, but I thought he did a really nice job, especially the back cap to open things up for Houston on Gibraltar. So Houston, they walk away with the victory. They stuff the Gladiators on the attack. And now I'm thinking here at the desk, crap, this is going back to Houston. They're going to steal this one in a Game 5.
That was Bren.
Yeah, I mean, I did think of it for a few seconds. I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot the map 5 was Ilios, and they've got Linkser on Widow. So I was like, what the hell are they going to do here?
They're putting hydration on Lucio.
That is ridiculous, isn't it? Like, who is going to expect that at all? Hydration on Lucio, and then you end up running both Shaz and Big Goose as this DPS duo of both the Sombra and the Tracer.
Yeah.
They're just flanking all over the place, all around the map, getting picks. I mean, that's honestly the most left field play I think I've ever seen.
I'm fine with players flexing to other heroes that they don't necessarily play usually to other roles. But if you flex like 4 players at once and you make it work versus the Houston Outlaws, when they have Linkser on Widow on Ruins, I mean, credit to you. Yeah, well, that wasn't too good, man.
Yeah, that wasn't too good because look at this.
Hey, you got the other 3 guys. You got the other 3.
Yeah.
But it still worked. They made it work. This is what's so impressive is the fact that Shaz moved over to the Tracer, a role we wouldn't consider him good at. Big Goose playing that DPS Sombra, and then hydration on the Lucio. It's like, when does that ever happen? Other than just then. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Bran, you predicted it. It was God's plan.
God's plan. All in.
We got one more Drake quote in before the show was over, and we have one more thing to do before this match is finished. Gladiators walk away with the victory, and biggest part to our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. It's Asher today. I wanted to give it to Big Goose. We had talk of Fissure once again, but Asher, so consistent through this one. His Tracer, we talked about it earlier. Where do you rank him right now? And Johnny, you crowned SBB as the best Tracer in the game. How far behind is Asher?
Well, all the Tracers in the league are really popping up. We're talking about Logix, we're talking about Striker for Boston, of course. I'm not really sure I want to rank this guy without actually giving it proper thought. Now, Bren, you're always hyped up. I've never seen you so passionate.
I am passionate today, Johnny. I'm not gonna lie, and I would pin Asher as probably one of the better when he's playing on point, right? When he's playing with consistency, which he did today. He's been doing it in the past few games. It's honestly on a whole nother level, and he's honestly cementing himself as one of the best Tracers in the league. Very impressive stuff coming out from him.
If you've been missing week 3 and 4 of the Overwatch League here for Stage 2, make sure you go back on OverwatchLeague.com and watch these Gladiators footage. It's so sick. These games have been so good. So many new heroes, and it seems the coaching staff starting to revolutionize this squad. You see them in Stage 2, currently in the number 3 spot. Seoul and New York ahead, but Gladiators, they got to watch their back. Lots of teams going to try and break their way in.
And crucial is they actually beat the London Spitfire as well. So it's going to be really tough for the London Spitfire to actually get back to that number 3 spot.
And looking at the overall standings, remember it's 40 matches before the regular season is over. You can see the Gladiators climbing the ladder quickly, still in 8th place. But that's just 3 wins in a row for this squad, and they're going to look to make it 4. They face off against Florida tomorrow morning. Well, 4 p.m. this morning for us here. We also get to see the Spitfire. The Valiant are going to try and bounce back against the Boston Uprising as well. Fellas, as we close out the show, best moment of the night. If they missed any games, what's the single game to go back and watch, Johnny?
I think you have to watch the Florida Mayhem when they actually grabbed the win. That was pretty impressive. When we saw some nice.
You just spoiled it now, haven't you?
Genji, what?
You just spoiled it now.
Yeah, we did it in the graphics as well.
Don't
Brent,
worry about it.
Best
Don't
game
worry
for
about
you?
it. I think it's got to be Gladiators. We're just then. It goes to map 5. An ridiculous series all around. We saw great plays.
And it just says Los Angeles wins in the background.
LA won. The show is done.
Friend.
Thank you all for tuning in. Big shout out to everyone who came out here to the Blizzard Arena. Tomorrow's Friday. We're kicking off the weekend the right way. Join us for the Overwatch League as Day 3 here in Stage 2 continues for Week 4. We'll see you then.